Yes.
It's about elevation angles coming from the surface. So because they're required to be taken from a flat plane, Stu needed to obfuscate his own flat plane measurements he's made in Antarctica by saying they've got nothing to do with the ground. At some point, they've got to try and infer that the question that's been begged of sphericity below a tangent plane has something to do with the measurements they're taking. They'll tie them together at some point. Looks two or three steps ahead of Toon's lie, while he's decrying its flat Earth prerequisite by nature, because he wants to deny its flat Earth measurement nature until he needs to use it to suggest later that it's proving a ball. But Buck's, what's the word? Prematurely going off, let's just say. Well, he wants to get straight to the, no, this does tie it to a globe Earth that we're assuming dangles below a plane. While Toon's saying it's got nothing to do with the ground that's actually being measured flat. The incongruence is Toon needing to lie about the measurement being directly tied to Earth because it's elevation. Because if you can use the measurement without it being acknowledged that it's a flat Earth prerequisite, it can then be whistled past, like has been done for 10 years. Me, I'm going, well, it's elevation. It means from the surface, and it's an angle, which is immediately the end of the discussion. So if he just lies, it's got nothing to do with the surface. The discussion can continue for him to later use that measurement to suggest sphericity. The same sphericity Buck wants to connect it to when he sees a ball. Goes, I can attach this at a point. Completely making Toon a demonstrable liar, which he is. I mean, I was thinking about it afterwards. I'm like, should I trim out these clips? But I'm like, what changes? Duffy came in, claimed he'd got receipts and was demonstrated to be a liar. Like at the off, you think that sounds juicy, but then you go, we already knew Duffy was a complete liar. It's not like it's a big news event. Same goes for McToon to a certain degree. He'll just lie, obfuscate, and demonstrate his cowardice in everything he does, and he did exactly that. You're like, well, it's not really a shock. There's no new news here. What was the outcome of the event? Well, Earth was measured flat quite a few times. Lots of people obfuscated their flat Earth prerequisites. Few people projected them onto me. I'm sure we'll do a roll call in a couple of minutes for my groupie anti-flurf trolls that'll be here. Check if Rob Noxious and Bev and Edinburgh are here. Maybe they've got a little skirts on so they can do a little dance for me.
Elder is already here waiting for you.
You had them in elevation. Once you can't elevation from what?
Exactly, elevation from surface level. So when you got an elevation.
Hello, elevation's nothing to do with curvature.
Okay, yeah, Dawn.
So
we know that
elevation changes. It's kind of to do with curvature. If you're measuring,
nothing to do with it. Sorry.
You're saying we don't measure hills?
You can measure hills, but it's nothing to do with Earth curving.
Curves, that's hills. Hills curve.
Nothing to do with the water curving on a flat or globe Earth.
You ever driven over a curve that we've
nothing to do with it, I'm afraid.
Specifically to do with it, it's the measurement of its elevation with respect to a plane that we measure.
No, the way you check if Earth's curving is over water on either model.
So we survey Earth for the topographical changes of the Earth. The water we measure for mean sea level. That's the datum that we use for all reference to altitude.
How are you going to tell if it's flat or globe then?
They measure it. I just told you like 10 seconds ago. Why male models?
So you accept that some people measure the Earth and then decide what it is?
They measure it for mean sea level.
Some people measure Earth and say it's curved, right?
No, they measure mean. Are you deaf?
No, what do you mean no? Yes, they do.
If it's curving, they measure the deviation in the vertical, that's curve, from the horizontal linear flat Earth measured distance, Dawn.
So they do measure Earth as a curve, you're saying? Some people?
No, they measure hills deviating from the linear mile.
No, of course they do. Otherwise, globers wouldn't exist.
You're right. I see what you're saying. I mean, I could take you through this if you like. They derive Earth's sphericity from flat Earth measurements to create a model called the globe, if that's what you mean. Is that what you mean?
They measure Earth and then say to themselves, we think it's curved?
Yes, they measure Earth flat and then derive curves on that flatness that they call the globe.
I rest my case, Nathan.
On screen now, you've got the flat Earth measurement of a plane called the equatorial and extended celestial planes with a glorified
I'm not looking at your screen, dude.
What's going on? What are you chat's going, Kimmy?
I'm not looking at your screen. So you admit that some people measure Earth and then say to themselves, this is a globe. You agree with me?
I heard you the first time you asked, and then I was in the middle of answering you. Did you want to repeat the same question a third time through the top of my answer as I continue to answer you? Yes, you measure it.
Yes. Yes.
Derive sphericity from measurements of Earth's surface. That surface level measurement to give you a globe to believe in is flat.
Can I ask it in a different way then? Do you agree with me that some people measure lakes, oceans, water, and find out that Earth's curving for themselves, as in they think it's curving after measuring, and they say Earth is curved?
Don't laugh at him. I think he's sincere. Don't laugh at him. Carry on, Don. Sorry.
You agree some people measure water and lakes and then say to themselves, Earth is curved?
Yes. So what you can do is you can measure the linear distance of the lake and then run the calculations and altitude from surface level.
Well, I don't want to know the science because I already know that. I'm just saying I want you to agree that they do that. So in this way, people measure Earth as a globe sometimes.
No.
Correct?
No, they don't.
You just said yes, though. Remember? Twice.
I said, can you create a curve with flat Earth measurements?
No,
yes.
I said, do they say to themselves, Earth is curved after measuring it?
They've measured it, yeah. They've measured it flat to say it's curve.
And the same with over the water?
If you want pain relief,
curved.
I heard your question. Do you want me to explain?
Is the answer yes?
I'm asking the same question that I've heard you say twice. I did
Is
hear
the answer yes. People measure the water and then say Earth's curved.
Feel better. Okay, Dawn. Yes. Go in peace.
Okay, thank you, Nathan, for speaking to me. I rest my case.
Yeah, excellent. I'm glad you've rested your case. Unfortunately, though, for anybody else who's intrigued to listen, the derivation of a sphere belief to say, well, now Earth's a ball, requires the surface level of Earth be measured flat to derive values for Earth as a globe. For example, but not limited to, the derivation of a radial value for a spherical Earth is derived from measuring elevation angles and their minimums for a system called latitude and an equatorial plane. Now, the equatorial plane is where you transfer measurements of Earth's surface for the angles to the lights in the sky within a ball on a plane. But to achieve that, you need to measure Earth flat to achieve it. You derive a radial value. So on screen for my audience is the equatorial plane with a edge labelled horizon, the azimuthal directionality afforded you from flat plane, and right ascension declination with you stood effectively inside a ball so that you can describe the positional information of the stars from within a ball that can be set in motion around the sun. That's heliocentrism. But to create heliocentrism, first you measure Earth flat and then derive sphericity from the flat Earth measurements. So yes, you can measure Earth and say, after I've measured it, I can calculate into existence a ball to believe in. And that is how the ball comes to fruition, through measuring Earth flat and creating a ball with those measurements.
That's what I was going to say. You're saying in measure. No, it's calculated what you got there in the end.
So when you measure something, when you talk about measuring the Earth flat, that would require a tool, would it not, to do that?
Oh, what did you say? I was tuning melon. My bad.
I say when you talk about measuring the Earth flat, measurements, that would require a tool, would it not?
I think you're a tool.
No, a tool. In order to establish a horizontal reference, you'd need a tool, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and you'd need a horizontal reference. The more important bit of this is
the tool. The tool will establish that, won't it?
We're measuring Earth flat as a horizontal reference. That's correct. You're catching on quickly. I like it.
What tool will it be using then?
To measure Earth as a horizontal reference. Well, Earth's a horizontal reference, so at the point that we're just establishing how will...
No, it's not, though. It's not. Otherwise, you wouldn't need a tool, would you?
You just said it was.
Yeah, but you said it was already horizontal, in which case you don't need a tool to measure it.
Yeah, it's measured as a horizontal plane.
With a tool? What tool would you use to measure it as a horizontal plane? What tool would you use?
Anna?
Screwdriver?
The what?
Hammer.
No, you're just being stupid. Yeah, come on.
Really?
What tool would you use?
We've got a horizontal plane.
So you don't have a horizontal plane. You don't have a horizontal plane without a tool to establish it. So what is the tool you're suggesting?
don't know. I mean, I referenced the equatorial plane. It's not my measurement, so you'd have to ask somebody who's using the equatorial plane. Any ballers who measure Earth flat for the equatorial plane want to tell Elderbev what tool you use to measure the equatorial plane with. I mean, maybe you could ask.
You have less evidence than I thought you had.
Not my evidence.
You don't even have a tool now for your claim.
You win. You win. No tool. You win.
Well, what tool is? I mean, it's a simple question. What tool will you use to establish a horizontal reference as the Earth isn't horizontal?
That's right, you win.
Yeah. So what tool would that be?
I said you win. I don't have a tool, so you win. Well done.
I'm not looking for a win. I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for an answer, not a win. For you to just escape from having no answer. What answer is it, Neil? You tell me. What tool would you use, Neil? You don't use a hammer. Don't be silly. You're a craftsman. You're a worker, Neil. What tool do you use?
Fuck do you know what I am?
Well, you tell everybody. I'm not a stalker. You tell everybody about you. Tell how many people you ripped off. You tell me you've been to prison. You said you pretended you were a Jew in prison. Yes, you told everybody.
Hello?
You told everybody everything I said.
Hello?
Everything I know about you came from your mouth, Neil.
Hello?
So it's not me. I didn't make it up. So what tool do you use in your trade, Neil, to establish a horizontal reference?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. What tool do you use to establish a horizontal reference in your world?
What tool did you use to change your voice?
That's a better question.
I don't need to change my voice with a tool. I can do that. I can do it fucking very easily, Nathan. You know, if you want to come out here and fight you, they fucking beat you down. Now you talking shit about me. You come over to my side now and have a fucking fight. We'll get it on man to man with a fair play, man. We'll fucking sort it out right now. You want to do it? Come on, you fucker. You know, I don't need a voice changer. I don't need a voice changer, Nathan. Yes, I mean I've got an IMDb reference, so yeah, which is more than you've got. Anyway, what is this? What is the tool we would use to establish a horizontal reference?
What did he say he got?
IMDb, he said. What's your IMDb reference?
None of your business. What is the tool? What's the tool that you use to establish a horizontal reference?
Quote, Edabet, I've got an IMDb reference. What's that?
Yeah. What tool do you use, I said?
Seems to have made you a bit stuttery. What's
No,
wrong with the IMDb reference? Does it describe you as a
There's
bad
nothing
person?
wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't describe me as a bad person.
You're a famous criminal.
So come on.
Are you?
What tool will we use to establish horizontal reference? Does any of your panel have an answer?
Do you have an IMDb reference? Did you say you got an IMDb reference? What's that?
Compass would work.
Do you have a horizontal reference?
If it was horizontal, your compass would work, wouldn't it?
No.
Wouldn't it? Oh, sorry. Got to put it.
How do you know the compass is horizontal?
Because I've used one.
Well,
You held it at one point in your hand.
It wouldn't work.
So how does that compass?
Let's see if
How does that compass find?
It doesn't
Click
point right.
OK. You don't know anything. Click it. Where's north then? Click OK with your compass. How do you find north with your compass? Click OK.
You put it horizontal.
And where's north?
Direction that the little arrow points to. Have you never used the compass?
I've never used one. Clearly.
Yeah, the point that you make your flat Earth around. Where's that?
That's right.
Actual north.
That's correct.
Not the direction. The place where north is.
He's impressive.
Yeah, it's done really well. So we've got a tool for measuring horizontal. I mean, the tool not existing in my person means that we don't have a horizontal. Yeah, we
don't have a tool.
With that tool. I don't know what tool. Maybe
you don't have a tool then. You just look at it and you say it's horizontal. Is that what you do?
It was it was a tool. I wasn't saying it was the tool I would use. It was a suggestion of a tool. But yeah, definitely it works horizontally.
Okay. So what any other tools you got? Or you just stick them in the compass?
Yeah, it's flat Earth.
Two heights, but then if you were doing two heights, you'd need a horizontal level plane to work from to make sure those heights were the same, wouldn't you?
So do you think the compass knows what surface it's on when you're holding it in your hand?
You have to level it.
I think the compass is in an animate object. You wouldn't really think about it.
Yeah, but that's what the tool does, right? That is what the tool does. That's its function. You say it creates a horizontal. That is the tool's function.
Barry, you're a flat earther.
Has nothing to do with the shape of the earth, the function of the tool. Same as a builder's level.
You dumb
It
bastard.
does actually.
Or a sextant. All right? They're just tools that measure things. Have nothing to do with the surface that you're standing on.
The ground, right? There it is, not the ground.
It's the same like tuning.
So your,
Surface.
so your builder's level, do you think that if you put your builder's level on a ball, the builder's level is unable to create a horizontal reference? Is that impossible? Because
tennis ball, put on your builder's plumb line or whatever, it'll fall off.
no, you put it on top. You put it on top.
A day's work in his life with his
That would
hands.
be a basketball. A basketball, we can reference a basketball. So
Yeah.
Why do you guys have
You
so
stick
much
to your computer.
trouble using basketball as an analogy for the spherical Earth? You seem to
But it's
think
not that. Well, we know it's not spherical. It doesn't matter. It's the tool we're talking about. We're talking about the tool being sentient, that it knows the surface it's on and it stops working on certain surfaces. If you put a builder's level on anything that isn't already horizontal, it doesn't work. That's your logic.
Basketball falls off.
What are you
Can't
talking
hear you.
about? What does that
You're being
mean?
ridiculous as you are with sort of, the computer shit.
Oh, you're assuming fear. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah, but
one
your
second,
builder's
Buck,
level.
Hey, Buck, how come when Nathan asked the question yesterday, you said yes and no?
Yeah, he's got plenty of time, Kikuchi. He's got plenty
How
of
come?
time.
It's because you don't
You're going to
understand
tell me
what
that
was
the
being
builder's
said?
level is
Because you're
sentient, are you, Neil? Is the
Elderberry,
builder's level
allow me
sentient?
to answer Gakushi's question.
You've got plenty of time. You've got plenty of time. You'll have all day. He'll mute me in a bit.
It's because Toon's a
You can
liar.
tell me that a builder's level or any tool that establishes a horizontal is sentient.
Toon was proven a liar yesterday by Buck. It was really funny.
Sentient builder's levels. Is that what you're using?
They won't answer you, Elderberry.
Yeah, they can't answer. It's what they're trying to say is that a tool that establishes a horizontal level
You win.
Go in
at debate.
peace.
isn't possible to work on a surface that they say it doesn't work on. But the
Right.
tool won't change. The tool is a tool.
We conceded.
God will strike it down with lightning if you try and apply a plumb bob to a curved surface.
I was just trying to find, some clear definition that we could then apply it to Nathan's claim that the Earth is measured flat. If it was measured flat, then the tool would be exclusive to that and that only.
I like how Nathan's hanging his hat on this thing with me and Toon where he refused to even look at the diagram. And so he thinks he's found some gotcha.
Oh, is that Buck? Is that the
Yeah.
asshole?
You can sense blood in the water.
Neil, you're allowed to speak? Neil, how about we look at that theorem
Flipping already.
18?
Hey, Buck, how about you fuck off?
Oh, what a tough
Very
guy,
good.
Neil. You don't want to talk? You don't want to talk science?
Oh,
We
talk
want
to scumbags.
surface level. So Toon needed to lie about his elevation angles being anything to do with the surface, because at the point he's using a
Incorrect.
flat surface. You wanted to tie it to the begging the question
Incorrect.
tangent plane of a ball Earth.
Toon's claim was, as Prop 18 in Euclid's theorem, hang on,
It's got
That-
nothing to do with the surface, end quote.
incorrect.
I quoted him verbatim. It has nothing to do with the surface, specifically referencing elevation angles. My response,
Toon
elevation
said that
direction
the
versus surface.
perpendicular
Remember,
plane was not the surface.
Explicitly declaring it had nothing to do with the surface at least half a dozen times, Buck.
Did he say it was tangent to the surface?
You then came along and said it's attached
You
to
won't
the
answer the
surface
question?
at a point.
Did he say
End
it was
quote.
tangent to the surface? Did he
Yes, so
say
the
it was
surface is the one
tangent
that
to the
Toon was
surface?
lying about.
Did he say it was tangent to the surface?
It had nothing to do with the surface, end quote.
Yet he said it was tangent to the surface.
No, he said it had nothing to do with the surface.
But
He
did
said
he
it
also say
fine.
it was tangent to the surface?
No, said, oh, so you've got to lie about what he said. Keep
No.
lying. We'll just trim
It's
out
called-
what he said, put it next
called
to you now
cherry
lying for him to
Like, for
defend.
instance, you know
cover
how
up
when you
lie.
cherry pick definitions of
He made it
elevation
clear.
angle, you're doing the
Nothing
same
to
thing
do
here.
with the surface.
Your little followers don't Don't
We're
see
going to
past
have a little
it. Normal
segue
people
away
do.
from Toon's lie. I don't mind doing this for the entire show, Buck. Cover up his lie a bit more. Lie for him some more, Buck.
Well, theorem 18, right? You looked at the diagram, right?
Nothing to do with the surface. End quote. That's verbatim.
But did you even look at the diagram?
I heard him. And now I'm quoting him. Nothing to do with the surface.
Did you look at the diagram?
I know what an elevation angle is. It's tied to the surface with the word elevation. Toon lied about it, and you confirmed with the word surface and
That's all you
point
got.
how much this
Cherry
had to do
picking
with the
some
surface.
random quote from a diagram you didn't even
Correct.
look at.
That's correct. Yeah, we now
Totally
got
obfuscating
trying
the
to
fact that it
take
proves
Toon's
your entire
egregious
theory of
lie
flat Earth
he got
wrong.
caught out in. Thanks, Buck, by the way. Thank you for conceding. It's got everything to do with the surface. When you said it joined the surface at a point, end quote you.
Correct. At the tangent.
Yeah, so Toon's definitely a liar. Nothing to do with the surface, end quote McToon. Thank you again, Buck, for
very
confirming
welcome, Nathan.
unequivocally
Now,
that Toon was
proof
caught
of flat
red-handed lying like an
You've proven
egregious
flat Earth.
scumbag deceiver con man. That's what Toon is. I'm so grateful you confirmed what a massive lie that he repeatedly said. It's got nothing to do with the surface. Egregious lies that Toon told, confirmed by Buck here today. Well
Do you
done.
think that he meant it wasn't the
I think I've got a
surface, or
verbatim
the
quote from
surface
him.
has no play in it?
There's no what wiggle room in Toon's lies. I mean, you can try and wiggle around them. It'll be very amusing.
Okay,
When do you think that this format for your shorts is going to wear a bit thin and you're going to have to try something
How many
new?
cuts will Toon need to cover up this lie? I mean, let's just get to the nitty-gritty of why he needs to lie.
Nathan,
He measured Earth flat
stop
with an
talking.
elevation angle. And when that got pointed out to him, suddenly it had nothing to do with the surface, end quote him.
As soon as I respond, Nathan will interrupt. Watch.
Suck on my bollocks. I'll do exactly as I like.
It's like clockwork.
This
It's
little
like
girl
clockwork.
will do
The
in an
reason-
attempt to cover up McToon's lie after he's already confirmed it. I've got no more use for you, Buck. Now moan like a little girl. Maybe call to the moderators to have me muted. Go ahead.
The reason he won't let me reply and he constantly interrupts is because he knows I'll prove him
It's
wrong.
format fallacy.
See what I mean?
Meanwhile, Toon got caught lying
I
about
mean?
elevation angles having nothing to do with the surface. They're specifically a measurement of the surface flat. Toon didn't like how flat he measured Earth, so he lied about it, and Buck confirmed it when he specifically described how it joined the surface at a point, end quote Buck. It's nice to have it reconfirmed at the beginning of the show. Yeah, Toon's a liar. He got caught twice lying. Then all the measurements are in the vertical as well. And I went, what about azimuth? And he went, well, that's in the horizontal. And then I got accused of misinterpreting the verbatim quote he got caught lying with immediately. Toon got caught out in two lies, specific lies. One, Buck assisted in confirming. The other, I caught him out with his pants down immediately after the sentence was concluded.
Well, it's nice that you agree with me. It's nice that you agree with me because you've shown that elevation angles can be measured from a curved surface.
But you still need it to be attached to your globe Earth that we're not measuring on a plane.
So Nathan Oakley has confirmed that elevation angles can be measured from a curved surface because he agrees with me.
Yeah, you
I
went
just
too
said
far.
that's a begging the question fallacy when you assume tangential planes have got a ball dangling below them. That's an affirming the consequent fallacy as well if you actually formatted it. Not that you have.
It's no more
Okay,
affirming the
refracted
consequence
curvature
than you assuming
confirmed
it's
that was it.
flat. You're a moron. What I'm
Refracted
assuming
curvature
is that it tells us
confirmed that for you,
nothing
Buck.
about Elderbear. What I'm assuming is that it tells us nothing about the surface below it. What you're
He
assuming
knows that
is
already.
it means it's flat. It's you that's affirming the consequence, my friend.
Refracted curvature confirmed that that's the case, that you can get an angle from a curve with a sextant. He's already
So
said
did
that. We
Brian's
know
logic. Brian's logic did as well.
That's a lie. He
Yeah,
came
he
on
did.
and told you
that.
that's a lie.
Sextant does not measure an elevation angle, does not have a horizontal
Elderbear, allow
baseline.
me.
They're all liars. Toon's a confirmed liar. Buck helped confirm him as a
Got the
liar.
recording.
Yeah,
Got the
liar.
recording.
You just confirmed that you can measure an elevation angle from a curved surface by agreeing with me.
Two straight lines.
Very good.
Measure angles,
It's
not
great.
curves.
Neil, did you hear that he actually
Neil,
agrees with me?
Can't measure an elevation angle with a tool that measures straight lines.
Would you like to bet? I do it all the time.
Well, Earth's measured flat for an elevation angle.
Incorrect.
Yeah, that's what you're measuring.
Incorrect. You saw
a horizon mirror. It's measuring an angle. It gives you it in a degree. It's definitely two straight lines.
Euclid's proposition 18 is wrong.
No, those words didn't cross my lips.
Well, if you say that you can't measure an elevation angle from a curved surface, you're saying that it's wrong. It's one or the other.
Measure
Which is
to a curve.
one or the other.
That would be a tangent. If you measure to an assumed ball, that's begging the question.
His information is wrong too.
If you say that it's not proof that it's a ball, if you say that it's possible,
if you're measuring a plane with a tangent to
to
a ball, then that's assuming there's a ball below the tangent you are measuring as a planar surface.
Incorrect.
So you're measuring a level surface for the angle in this angle measuring device.
Are you assuming that it's
there's
flat?
a ball dangling below the plane you are actually measuring.
Are you assuming that it's flat?
You're assuming there's a ball dangling below a plane you're measuring with this tool. The purpose of measuring with this tool is to establish a baseline for an angle.
Correct.
So the baseline you are measuring with the tool is now, according to you, assumed to be a tangent plane, tangent to a ball you've assumed dangles below the plane you're measuring.
Incorrect.
It's just what you're assuming.
It's hard to work with you.
Yeah, we haven't got a ball. There's no ball. That's incorrect. Okay,
Whoa.
No tangent plane to be assumed, to be begged the question of and affirm the consequent of. Okay, yeah, we do just measure planes, though.
Correct.
Yeah, so Earth's measured flat. It's measured as a plane.
That's incorrect. You're assuming that it's flat.
Well, that's what a plane is. If you're measuring for an angle with a 0
You're
degree.
assuming that the plane is the surface, and that's the
required
whole
for that
issue.
measurement.
And that's the issue that you avoid, like the plague.
Someone
You
just
assume the plane is the surface. It could very easily be the tangent plane to the surface. It could be either.
There's
You
a ball.
make the assumption that it's flat.
Measured when you've got a ball dangling below a plane that you're measuring. Yeah, again,
It
same
could be
thing.
either.
Repeat is the same begging the question
The
part. So
horizontal baseline could be the
measuring
plane tangent to the
tangential
surface,
plane, then it's
or
allowed to be a
if the Earth
measurement.
was
You've got a
flat, it
ball
could be the
assumed to
surface.
dangle below it. But the only bit being measured in that scenario isn't the ball bit, it's the claim you're making, not reality, a tangential plane. Yeah, because you need a plane. That's the only reason that's
Correct.
part of the measurement. The ball
Correct.
in this scenario is not being measured. It's simply assumed to dangle below the bit you are measuring.
You're measuring the tangent plane, where it
Yeah,
touches
I know.
the
You
surface
say we're
at the
measuring a
point
plane.
you're
That's
measuring
exactly
the elevation angle from.
There's no ball dangling below that plane we're measuring, and the only measurement bit is the plane bit,
Right.
not the ball bit. You're
So
assuming
you're
that.
just assuming there's no ball.
Oh
assuming
my
that it's flat
God!
and there's no ball.
I should automatically assume there is a ball, aka
No.
begging the quick question, you
Here's
dumbass.
the difference. I'm saying that we don't know what the contour of the surface is. You're saying we
we
know it's
measure it.
flat
Right.
because we can measure an elevation angle.
You just only accept that measurement when you've got a ball dangling below it. Then the plane
No.
tangential is
Incorrect.
okay. We can measure it
The-
then, right? When there's a ball assumed to dangle below. But
The
oh my God,
ability to measure an elevation
not
angle
automatically
can
being a
happen
ball.
on a
How
curved
foolish of
surface
me.
or a flat surface.
That's what we're measuring. A plane. You assume it's tangential.
Didn't you just say
No.
we don't know the contours of the plane? I'm pretty sure it's all been surveyed from
Yeah.
surface level.
Yeah, we've surveyed. This dickhead doesn't have the slightest idea. Earth's been surveyed. We do know the contours to the millimeter
Well, there was
accurate.
that one time your
We measured
sister let you
linear
hold your sex
distances.
tape, right?
Meanwhile, this assumption that we can measure a plane, but only if we say a ball's dangling below it, then it's allowed to be a measurement.
Correct. We can
Doesn't
measure
that
an
survey
elevation
show the Earth
angle
is
from a
not flat,
curved
though?
surface or a flat surface.
Glenn?
The ability to measure one doesn't tell us anything about the surface below us.
It does. It tells us it's a freaking plane because that's what it is when you measure it. It doesn't tell us
Incorrect.
The survey shows it's not flat.
Incorrect.
plane. It's just you can only accept that plane if you say it's tangential. When you say it's tangential, then it's all good. We can measure it. It's a plane because it's tangential to a ball. I'm assuming. Then it's all cushy.
No, the people you said measured the Earth flat. They measured elevation change and they found that it was not. It's not flat.
My book, only if we assume that there's a ball dangling below this plane we measure. He's
With a
saying
tool that is not sentient.
his outcome is tangential.
Nathan's claim, and he's going to interrupt me.
Tool isn't
like
sentient.
clockwork. There you go. Nathan's claim is that because we can measure an elevation angle, that means the Earth is flat. My claim is we can measure an elevation angle on a curved surface or a flat surface. It tells us nothing.
Not me. Meanwhile, you will only accept the plane we measure if it's tangential to a ball.
Incorrect. I just said it could be measured from a flat surface or a curved surface. So you're lying.
Right. If it's tangential, That's because
I
ipso
just
facto
said
you require
you can
plane.
measure an elevation
Yeah.
angle from a
The elevation
flat
angle.
surface
Toon
or a
lied
curved
about.
surface.
Yeah, that's why Toon had to lie about it, because it's directly tied to the surface.
I will repeat. You can measure an elevation angle from a curved surface or a flat surface. Do you agree?
Well, you can only get it to. Yeah, you're not measuring a plane if it's coming from a curve, because the angle's not an angle if it's coming from a curve. But you can measure tangential to a ball. You assume it angles below the plane you're now accepting again. It's the third time I've gone through this. You will only accept the plane we are measuring if that plane we are measuring is said by you to be tangential at a single point touching the ball dangling below it. So we've got an
Incorrect.
assumption of a ball dangling below
I
that we're
just told you.
definitely not
Listen to my words.
We're measuring a line that you call a tangent now, but it's just a planar measurement. That's all it is.
You can measure an elevation angle from a flat surface or
That's
a
what it
curved
is.
surface.
It's the measurement from the surface, flat for the angle to be 0.
You can measure an elevation angle from a flat surface or
I
a
heard
curved
you the first
surface.
time and I responded. That's exactly what we're doing, you dumbass deaf man.
Neil, stop interrupting.
But yeah, we measure Earth as a flat surface. It's 0.
Well, why are you saying that I will only accept it if it's a tangent? That's incorrect.
Unless you assume that you've got a ball dangling below. Then you're okay with this flat Earth measurement of a plane for 0 degrees for the angle. No, we're just measuring 0 degrees for the angle. There's no ball assumed to be dangling. The ball's got nothing to do with an angle. You understand that, right?
Absolutely. It has nothing to do with it.
Right, that's because we're not measuring a ball. We're just measuring an angle off a flat plane for the 0 degree baseline. It'll meet the GP
Which is not the Earth's surface.
if you're using this in any practical way.
Which is not the Earth's surface.
Like I said.
GP is not surface. Do you not know what GP stands for, whoever that was?
Ground position. What does ground position
I just have that
nothing to
twat
do with
interrupt
measuring the
us.
elevation
He's a
angle?
wanker and wrong. I heard somebody say nothing to do with the surface. Then I had Buck confirm ground.
Nothing to do with the elevation.
Just want to chastise a fuckwit, Buck. We'll get back to you shortly. Fuckwit. Did you hear what we just said when you said nothing to do with the ground? A bit like Toon and his lie that we're exposing in this process. Ground position.
Yep, the planar surface has nothing to do with the ground.
It's
just measured from palm.
Ground position, you fucking retard.
Yep, but the plane doesn't have anything to do with that.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid retard. You stupid man.
That's all you got?
But you say
sentient tools, don't forget.
Measuring a fucking ground position, you dumb fuck.
Yeah,
but not the plane.
Sentient tools he uses.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah? Yeah, your lie is the same as Toon's lie, by the way. That's what Toon did. Said it was nothing to do with the ground. Yeah, here we are talking about ground positions right on cue. Right at the point that Toon used the exact same lie. Toon had to lie like this dumb fuck that's just been chastised by me did. That's the same lie Toon used, mate. Not the ground. Absolutely the ground, you dumb fuck.
When does the level
the
use
sextant
the
that you
ground?
measure an angle to Polaris with doesn't have a horizontal baseline.
Shut your dumb ass up.
Oakley, when does the level use the ground?
Why am I hearing from the dumbest fuck in the room? I was talking to Buck.
Well, I thought you were talking about yourself there.
Sit down and shut up.
The sextant that measures an angle to Polaris doesn't have a horizontal baseline. Remember, refracted curvature told you that. Doesn't have a horizontal baseline. Therefore, it could be on any surface and measure that angle.
Oh, you got a little buck for your buck. It's all got a bit limp.
Doesn't have a horizontal baseline.
How could I respond when
straight lines are horizontal?
Runs out of steam, cooking for you, buck.
Not an elevation angle, refracted curvature says.
Yeah, it's an elevation angle, specifically detailed with Toon when he said
that's what he said. It's not an elevation angle because it doesn't have a horizontal baseline.
We're measuring for ground positions, end quote, Buck, 3 minutes ago.
I go with refracted curvature, who told us that.
I'm going to interrupt this incessantly because I'll just shut you up if you can't cope.
Yeah,
so I'm just reminding you that your tool is sentient. The horizontal one.
If you can't shut yourself up, I'll give you one more try.
Elder Bear said it perfectly. The horizontal baseline is independent of the contour of the surface below it. The end.
It doesn't have one with the sextant. It doesn't have a horizontal baseline.
Ground positions.
It doesn't have one. Refracted curvature made it clear there's no horizontal baseline
I got ground position.
line when
at the
measuring
end
the
of
angle of the
distance that
sextant.
we're measuring for. Cat got your tongue, retards? Measuring for ground positions.
We're not measuring for ground positions. Incorrect.
Absolutely. That is the only reason we're doing this, to find the ground position of the star so we can draw out a radii,
I
we can have
measure
a
elevation
circle,
angles
so we
to
can have
find
a
my
line of position,
latitude
so we can find out where the fuck we are.
even
It's
caring
the
about
only
the
reason for
ground
doing it.
Why would I could get my latitude
Sorry.
by
We're
measuring my
measuring for a ground
elevation
position,
angle
you
to
lying
Polaris
pieces of shit.
and have nothing to do with the ground position.
No, that's all. The only reason we're doing this. That's the purpose of it.
I just told you, if I want to get my latitude, I can measure my elevation angle to Polaris, and that tells me my latitude. End of story. No GP
It's
involved.
an elevation angle, meaning it's from the ground.
That you didn't answer my question. I just said.
What's my question? There was a statement of flat Earth measuring fact for Polaris.
Incorrect. You said
an elevation angle with a 0
GP
degree
must be
baseline.
used for an elevation
Positions
angle
on the
and that's
ground. That's what this is
incorrect.
used in. It's navigation.
Misunderstanding.
We use that system. We
Tell
use
your
the coordinate
followers.
data on the ground, you dumbass.
No, the angle's measured
Yeah,
from the
on
eye, not the ground.
coordinate on the ground.
Measured from the eye, not the ground.
Are you guys denying the coordinate system for ground positions now?
No, it's not the ground, it's your eye.
Really?
The
So
angle
coordinates
is from
aren't
your eye
ground?
through the sextant.
The
There's
coordinates
no
aren't
horizontal
ground.
baseline.
Cuck dealing for this
No.
for you, is he there?
It has no horizontal baseline.
Cuck.
There's two straight lines, neither of which are horizontal.
Latitude
Two
per cuck.
straight lines, sloping straight lines that meet at the vertex, neither of which are horizontal. Doesn't have a horizontal baseline, and it's not an elevation.
Somebody's done it for me. Thank you very much. Cuck talked about part of a system that forms data about ground positions, specifically coordinate data. That's what you just gave me. Are you going to deny again and lie about it not having anything to do with the ground when we talk about specifically coordinate data acquisition? It's everything to do with the ground, you piece of shit liar. I got your tongue, Buck.
I don't know what you're asking, Nathan. You just jabber on, and it makes no sense.
Coordinate data on the ground. You're denying it has anything to do with.
If you want me to answer, ask me a cogent question.
No, I'm going to just call you out as a liar. You suggested this coordinate data for latitude information doesn't have anything to do with the ground. Yeah, it does.
That's a lie. You misquoted
Okay,
it.
so it does have something to do with the ground then.
Are you going to say what I said or what? Are you going to lie about what I said?
With elevation angles, that's the purpose of doing it.
Okay,
for
do I
now,
need to repeat? When I measure
on
my elevation angle to Polaris to get my latitude, I don't care about
that's why we're doing it. Well, this stuttery twat figures out which way he's got to go next.
When I measure my elevation angle to Polaris to determine my latitude, I don't care about the ground position of Polaris. End of story.
Well, you care about your coordinate data. That's what you're using it for. It's for ground positional information.
I just told you, when I want to get my latitude, I measure an elevation angle to Polaris, and I don't care about the GP. It plays no role in that measurement.
You're measuring Earth flat with an elevation angle. That's what an altitude angle is.
Why are you changing the subject? You said you must care about the GP.
Measuring an elevation angle. That's an
elevation
altitude angle. Polaris. That's what you said.
Wrong.
No, that's what you said. You said you're measuring an elevation angle. That's a flat Earth measurement. I'm going to read out a few definitions. The altitude angle, sometimes described as the elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line
Do the one from Sustainable by Design.
The horizontal plane the observer is standing on. This is specifically detailing what an altitude angle.
I think that definition was updated, if I'm not mistaken.
It requires
I believe that definition was
Here is
updated.
Buck muting me. Do you need taking charge of Buck? I'm reading out the definition of what you said you measured with Polaris. I'm going to read out the definitions to you, Buck. Do you want to stick your fingers in the ears or do you want to listen?
No, the definition has nothing to do with what we were talking about. You said I must care about the GP when I'm measuring an elevation angle. I just gave you an example.
You lied about it being anything to do with the surface. You're now attempting to use the same lie.
I never said anything about the surface. I said something about the GP.
Said elevation angles are specifically tied to the surface. Toon lied about it. You attached it tangentially at a single point to the surface, proving Toon's a liar. Now I'm defining what this angle measurement is. It's an altitude angle measurement. I've defined it once and you chat skank through the top of it because you're scared of these flat earth measurements.
The GP has everything to do with the elevation angle. End quote. Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, it does. That's what we're measuring for if we're doing
so when I measure an elevation angle to Polaris,
requires a flat earth beat measured.
When I measure an elevation angle to Polaris, what role does the GP play in that?
The ground position. Well, if you're using it as an area of equal
No, I
elevation,
asked you what role it plays. Why
then
do I
it'll
need
form
to
a
know
line of
anything about the ground
the
position?
dry flat Earth radial value when you minus the angle from 90 times it
No,
by
you're
6.
talking about
your
cell
distance
nav.
to
I'm
the
talking
GP,
about
in
measuring
this case,
elevation
Polaris,
angle.
if you're using it for navigation. So it's specifically tied to it if you're using it as a navigation star.
I'm not
Meanwhile,
using it
the
as a
process of
navigation.
acquisition requires, quote, you measure an elevation angle. That is a prerequisite requirement to measure Earth flat.
I am not using my measurement of an elevation angle to do cell nav. Do you
Don't
not
care. The
understand
angle itself
simple
is a flat
English?
Earth measurement.
I am not using my elevation angle
Yeah,
to
if you
do
shove it
cell
up your
nav.
ass.
So why do
The
I care
measurement,
about the
regardless of
GP?
what you use it for, is a flat Earth only measurement.
The question is, why do I care about the
Question is, why are you
GP to
using
measure
flat
an
Earth
elevation angle? You keep dodging this claim you made.
anything?
Quote,
I'll read out a few more
quote, the
definitions when you stop
GP has
spurging.
everything to do with the elevation angle, end
Yeah,
quote.
'cause it's a flat Earth measurement.
What does that have to do with the GP? I measure an elevation angle.
If you're using it for
Polaris.
navigation,
Don't
would
care
be
about the
applied if you
GP.
used it in this manner for that process. I've already answered that 10 seconds ago. Why male models? You're not capable of listening. You're just spurging through the top of my answers, or
No,
what?
you don't answer the question. Answer this
Did.
question. When I
What's the
measure
GP
an
with the
elevation
motion
angle
of the
to
outward angle
Polaris,
of Polaris? Well, if it's used as a navigation star, you can find your line of position with it. That's why.
why do I need the GP to measure my
Oh,
elevation angle?
Meanwhile, the angle itself is a flat
You
Earth
wanna-
only measurement.
Quote, the GP has everything to do with the elevation angle, end
It
quote.
does. If you're using it as a navigation star, you find your
Well,
position
you
with
never
it.
said that.
It's
I
ground
said I'm
position.
not doing navigation.
Yes,
So why
explain
does
it
the
3
GP matter?
times.
Why does the
What do you
GP
get?
matter if I'm not doing navigation?
Oh, don't have to use it for that. But the angle itself,
Okay,
you're
so the
measuring
GP
elevation.
doesn't matter if I'm just
Why?
measuring an
Flat Earth
elevation
for that
angle.
measurement.
The GP does not matter if I'm
Well, the
using
GP,
it
the
just to get
elevation
an
angle.
elevation angle, right?
You're going to obfuscate to GP now. GP's a flat Earth prerequisite also. Anything
No,
to
I'm
do
just-
with GP
You
requires
said
Earth to be
something
flat.
wrong. You said,
No,
quote,
GP's on a flat
the
plane.
GP has everything to do with the elevation angle.
Programmatically
end
exampled
quote.
on screen now.
Nathan Oakley.
Definitely going to have a straight line to a 90 when you're talking about
Yeah,
GP.
yeah.
Earth is flat for
Explain
GP.
your quote. The GP has everything to do with the elevation angle. I gave you an example of where I
Everything to do
measure
with
an
the elevation
elevation angle, and I don't care what the GP is.
I
Go
don't care
ahead.
if you don't care. You don't have to acquire a GP. You can just frivolously measure an elevation angle for no reason. I mean, if
I
you
just
want your
gave you a
latitude,
reason. If
assuming
I
you're
want to
doing
know
it
my latitude, I would measure an elevation
some
angle to
wankers,
Polaris.
sniffing dweebs, go out and measure elevation angles for no reason at all. Now, I don't give a
Okay, so
shit
were you
what
wrong?
do with an
So were
elevation
you
angle.
wrong when you said the
Direct tied
GP
to
has
the Earth,
everything to
in
do with
spite of
elevation angle?
McToon's lying about it, not having anything to do with the Earth, and you confirming that it's attached at a single point when it's a tangential plane. Meanwhile, the angle itself is required to be measured from a flat plane. That's what the angle is, regardless of what you do with it.
Let me requote you. The GP has everything to do with the elevation angle.
Elevation angle. Yeah, it does.
Oh, so it does now. So when I measured my elevation
GP's
angle,
at the bottom of the
from
sky
Polaris, how
measuring
did I
with an
use
elevation
GP?
angle specifically. When doing celestial navigation, I've gone through this with you 4 times.
Oh, so
meanwhile,
you
Earth's measured flat for a
to
GP.
say the
Earth's measured
GP
flat
has
for an
everything
elevation
to do
angle.
with the
That's why I
elevation
do not
angle
lie about it.
only when you do cell nav, right? Is that
What,
what
the
you
Earth
meant?
measured flat? No, if you're measuring an elevation angle for anything ever, it's a flat Earth prerequisite.
That's not the question. The question is, what does it have to
No,
do with
what
the
you don't
GP?
like this question about what a flat Earth elevation angle is. I'll
Quote.
define it for you, Buck.
Let me quote you, Nathan.
Measurement of elevation
The
angle.
GP has everything to do with the measuring the elevation angle. end quote.
Horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane.
Kikuchi,
So in order to
Kikuchi,
measure
can you
the
get
angle,
this
you
quote
need a
from Nathan?
horizontal plane to measure it
Quote.
with.
The GP
Please,
has
the chat's going through.
everything to do with
You've
measuring
lost.
an elevation
lost.
angle.
You've lost. Earth's measured flat with these elevation angles. That's why two not to lie about it.
No, as Elderbear stated, the horizontal plane of
stated.
reference is independent of the
Are you
surface below it.
No, they're not independent. I've just defined it. You just chat skank through it. You're too scared of the definition.
I chat skanked through nothing.
Right, do you want to hear the definition again without you chat skanking through it? Because you did.
If you read the proper definition, if you read the definition after sustainable by design
The
correctly,
same reason you had to lie about it is the reason you're chat skanking through the definition.
did sustainable by design correct your definition?
He was scared of them too.
You guys know that this quote he's giving, the owner of the site had to
trying to
go
give you a
in
citation.
and
You just don't want to
edit
hear
it because he knew Nathan was misusing it to prove this
It
nonsense.
has nothing to do with the surface.
Should I post the email
You
from
should. Yeah,
Sustainable by Design when I told
liar.
them how it's being used?
I've got definitions. I've got 20 of them.
Would you guys like me to post that email? It was
I'm
so
trying to read out
funny.
definition. You're asking if I want you to
go
post
look
them.
at his
I
website.
don't mind if it takes you all day. It's very telling that you're scared of these definitions, the same way Toon didn't want them read out. Okay, angle of elevation. The angle of elevation is the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight which is above the horizontal line.
Where does it say the horizontal line is the surface?
Virgin straight through the top of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they have to lie, because they're terrified of the definition.
Where does it say the horizontal baseline
only
is the
capable of being
surface?
measured with respect
Simple
to a flat Earth. It's a flat Earth measurement, and he's asking me a question in the middle of me defining how flat Earth is measured for this angle. Scared, terrified, very telling. Hope you keep it up through the live show.
Guys, I'm going to post in chat the updated definition that Sustainable by Design did once he realized how Nathan was misusing it. It's hilarious. Just give me a minute. I'm going to post it. Okay, it's in the chat. Look at what Sustainable by Design said about Nathan when he found out. Have a read.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. And we are joined by Len, Neil, Surf Daddy, Click OK, One Deck, and a whole bunch of people in the Worldwide Debates Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm slightly horrified to find out that the, what would you call it, aftermath of Toon getting caught lying has resulted in splurge into today's show. So throughout the pre-show, if you're wondering why we're a little bit late live, there's been a defence party mobilised to defend against Toon's lies about not needing the surface and it having nothing to do with the surface when measuring Earth flat with an altitude angle. Now, we got to the point where we almost had definitions read out, but unfortunately, PR consultant Buck Sodbusters come to overcome the fact that he was the one that exposed Toon's lies when suggesting elevation angles have nothing to do with the surface. Now we're at the point where we might get some definitions read out for Buck Sodbuster defending Toon's lies and defending his honour about how elevation angles have got nothing to do with the surface. We'll try and continue and see how well we get on. So, measurement of elevation angle. The elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. That's from Radar Tutorial. I've got about 19 more.
In addition to that, also Buck had mentioned or had quoted Euclid's citation, Theorem 18, This is from Euclid's Elements, Book 1, Proposition 18. It is proven that an angle opposite the greater side of any triangle is always greater. In simpler terms, in any triangle, the longest side is opposite the largest angle, and the shortest side is opposite the smallest angle. What do you need to create a triangle?
If you're measuring it with respect to Earth's surface, then you need a flat baseline for the angle to form the zero.
Thank you. And here's what drives me crazy with these guys. You can't just randomly say, well, according to Euclid's theorem 18, I'm correct. No. Euclid is crystal clear on this. Triangulation, angles, triangles, and a required flat baseline. That's it. Just thank you, Nathan.
Exactly as Earth's measured, with things like elevation angles, measuring with respect to the horizontal plane of Earth's surface. Obviously, if you need to assume that there's a bald angling below a tangential plane, then it's accepted that we are measuring this plane. If we say it's tangential and assume there's a bald angling below that's not being measured, then it's an acceptable plane meeting a ball at a single point. Nothing to do with the actual measurement other than a single point of assumed tangency with a ball assumed to be in existence that's not being measured. Meanwhile, that was where Buck exposed Toon's lie when Toon explicitly said this elevation angle had nothing to do with the surface, because at the point that he's utilizing it, it's a flat Earth measurement from a horizontal plane, and Toon didn't want it to be, so he lied and said it had nothing to do with the surface. I don't know if Buck was not paying attention to his guru, but he came in and said it was specifically attached to the point, scuppering Toon's lies and exposing Toon as a liar for a live audience assisted by Buck. Now we're into whether or not we need GPs, that's ground positions, when measuring Polaris with an elevation angle off a flat plane.
Yeah, but if a refracted curvature made it clear that that's not the case with the sextant angle, that it doesn't have a horizontal baseline. He made it quite clear that the sextant does not measure an elevation angle. It doesn't have a horizontal baseline, and neither of the straight angles are horizontal. They're both sloping. I mean, refracted curvature said that clearly.
Okay, so if you're measuring from a dinghy with a sextant, a mariner's sextant, then you have a zero baseline. If you are on the surface level, that's sea level, in a rubber ducky lifeboat preserver, whatever you want to be on the sea level, that's when you get a horizontal baseline without any correction needed. Now, if you are above the sea level with a mariner's sextant, then there's two things that must occur. The first thing that must occur is you must measure Earth flat for your elevation off sea level. So you can correct the parallel eye level to the surface level, because where your eye level meets the ground, meeting the sky in the distance for a reference, that's the horizon used in the horizon mirror, then you correct to the surface level from parallel eye level. That's how you correct if you're not on the sea level using this tool. But what you've just said is incorrect.
So the angle measured with the sextant is an uncorrected angle. There is no horizontal until you add some correction. So it is possible to measure an angle from any surface that doesn't have a horizontal baseline then.
Well, unless you're in a dinghy.
Well, that's not the case he was talking about.
So, unless you're in a dinghy,
he made it clear. He made it clear there's no horizontal baseline. You just confirmed it because you said you had to correct. You had to correct that angle to get a horizontal baseline. And so when you measure with the sextant, you haven't got a horizontal baseline, which means in that case you could do it on any surface because it doesn't require a horizontal baseline.
It seems at the point that these
we're talking about the one the refracted curvature said. Not you're the one you're talking about.
That makes them lose, and they just ignore it.
It's what refracted curvature said.
Right, so rather than acknowledging what I'm addressing you with, I'm refuting your garbage that's wrong. You're ignoring me.
So why, if at any elevation the angle is the same, do you need to change the angle then?
We have a horizontal baseline from a dinghy. Either you acknowledge that or say it's wrong. Say no. When on the sea level using this tool, you still need to correct. You can tell me I'm wrong and suggest you still need to make a correction from a dinghy to make you correct.
And in that case, there's no horizontal baseline with the angle, is there?
Yes, there's only a horizontal if you're in a dinghy.
You said that you have to correct that angle to get a horizontal. So the angle measured doesn't
Say
have a
it one more
horizontal at
time.
that point.
Right, if you ignore me, I'm going to remove you from the discussion, Elder Bear.
You're ignoring me.
If you are in a dinghy, you do not need to make a correction. I've said that 6 times.
Refracted curvature wasn't talking about being in a dinghy, was he?
Remove him from the discussion.
Yeah,
No,
you do.
No, not going to do this. Round and round in circles. He's wrong. If you make a correction, it is because you are above the sea level. If you are at sea level, there's no correction to make. The correction he's talking about is a, quote, height of eye correction. So you need the height of your eye off sea level. So you've got to measure a flat Earth perpendicular to your parallel eye level. I've said all this. I'm going to reiterate it because scumbags just ignore it, like it doesn't challenge their assertion that you don't have a 0 degree baseline when in a dinghy. Yes, you do, and there's no correction to make if you're already on the sea level. He's just wrong, wants to ignore it and say, well, but refracted curvature said, what? So if you can readdress refracted, it means I didn't point out that there is absolutely a 0 degree baseline when you're measuring from the dinghy. Now, I understand that Bev wannabe Elder Bev doesn't like addressing when he's wrong. He'd rather just plough on and address someone else that isn't addressing his garbage waffle. A bit like McToon playing his cowardly soundboard when he gets demonstrably proven wrong with his suggestion that elevation angles have got nothing to do with the surface. End quote McToon. Until Buck comes along and says, oh yeah, it's touching the surface at a point. Yeah, definitely got something to do with the surface then, unless you're lying about it in that very moment, because like Toon and everybody else who alleges to have gone to Antarctica, they all measured Earth flat there. Now, there's like this is the entourage we get as a consequence of Toon lying and making himself look bad. If you want to check out yesterday's show, Jen Panda have an absolute mental breakdown as soon as Toon got exposed as a liar. Suddenly we weren't allowed to talk about it anymore. And we've been talking about it too often because we've been talking about it for about 30 minutes. And it was just too much to cope with. Well, some guru that's a fart-sniffing dweeb lying about not needing the surface when measuring surface level angles. Yeah, that's just the standard fare for ballers like Toon. You all lie. That's what you do if you're a baller. Lie. Or ignore the contrapositive position being put to you. In this case, Earth's measured flat with a sextant. If you're in a dinghy, no corrections being made. If you're not in a dinghy and you're 100 feet up, you still got to measure 100 feet perpendicular to sea level, and you need a principal axiomatic parallel eye level to correct to the surface level, which is his point. Oh, well, because it has to be corrected. Well, it doesn't have to be corrected 8th time if you're in a dinghy on the sea level. Meanwhile,
thank you for the confirmation. Thank you. You did have to correct the angle because the angle didn't have a horizontal baseline. That's what I'm saying.
In a dinghy. In a dinghy, you don't make the correction.
We're not talking about a dinghy. Refracted curvature wasn't talking about a dinghy.
Yeah, you're not talking about what I've responded with.
You also said that above when you're not in a dinghy.
I am, because it refutes what you say. So when I refute what you say, you tell me you're not saying.
You refuted yourself. You refuted yourself. You said when you're not in a dinghy, you have to make a correction because there isn't a horizontal baseline. You said that.
So you said that. In a dinghy.
You said if you're 100 feet above the surface, you have to make a correction because the angle does not have a horizontal baseline. Therefore, it's not an elevation angle. Thank you for the confirmation. Thank you. Well, whatever height you're at, it's not an angle.
No, you're measuring an elevation
angle. The refracted curvature made clear about. Is refracted curvature wrong?
It's back to this. I'll only appeal to somebody who said you do need to make a correction. What if you're in a dinghy?
You confirmed it. We're not talking about a dinghy. We're talking about when you measure an angle that is above the surface, that does not provide an elevation angle, does not have a horizontal baseline. Neither of the straight lines are horizontal. They're both sloped. I'm not scared about it. Stop talking about that.
He keeps coming back with the same lie.
It's in the chat.
I want to know why
it's in the chat.
The measurement
the
taking
proof
place.
is in the chat, Oakley. The proof's in the chat. The timestamp and the video is in the chat for anybody who wants to see. I'm not lying. It's a proof.
Is if you lost your GPS,
your own right hand
And there's a very good chance
your
that you
own
might
right-hand
actually need
man
to
made it
live.
clear.
Now, if you're on the
Not
sea
my
level,
fault.
you absolutely, unequivocally wouldn't make a correction because you're already at the sea level. That's a fact. Now, Edabear is saying, I'm not talking about this, and I want to know why you're scared of talking about it. I've made it
I'm not
explicitly
scared
clear.
about talking about
we
it.
are talking about being in a dinghy, Edabear.
We're
Why are
talking
you
about
scared of
the
it?
possibility of measuring an angle that doesn't require a horizontal baseline. That's what we're talking about.
In a dinghy, you don't require to
No, we're
correct.
talking about measuring an angle
already got
that
it. You're
doesn't
already
have
at
a
sea level.
horizontal baseline. It is a
Yeah, sea level.
possibility. You just admitted it.
Yeah,
And
we're
that's
in a
what I'm
dinghy at
talking
sea
about.
level, no
So
correction.
if you were on a ball, you wouldn't know, would you? You'd still measure that angle.
What, the
Whatever
horizontal
surface
baseline
you're on,
being
you'd
zero?
still be able to measure that angle that does not have a
zero being the
horizontal
horizontal baseline
baseline.
from sea level.
It does exist in reality, your reality
flat
and
Earth
my
measurement does
reality.
exist in reality.
An
We're measuring a horizontal
angle
baseline
measured
from a dinghy
without a
boats that
horizontal
we're on, which have
baseline. Very clear.
complicated GPS.
Thank you very
We
much.
wouldn't really need a sextant unless we were in a dinghy.
Is the sextant sentient?
Do you think there's 100-foot lifeboats, you dumbass? Is that what you think? There's
Is the
100-foot lifeboats?
If you did a fix,
Do you think the boats
if
that
you
are
did
saving your life when the real ship sinks are 100-foot tall?
if you did celestial navigation and
You're measuring a
you
zero
found yourself
from
a fix
sea level
and found
in
you're on a
dinghy.
3,000-foot
No correction,
mountain,
it's just
you're
flat
not
Earth,
on the surface of water, are you?
Yeah, when we're in a dinghy.
There is no elevation change. You see, you can measure at any angles the same at any elevation change. You claim it's flat. You claim everywhere on that circle is the same elevation. And yet you could be 10,000 feet up on a mountain and measure the same angle. So it's not flat. It's not on the same elevation as you have confirmed. Thank you very much.
And you want to get as far away from
Yes,
this dinghy
you could
as
be on a
possible, don't you?
mountain and measure the angle too.
We're in the sea. We're on a dinghy. We're measuring Earth flat
Yeah,
with a section.
not above the. We're talking about what refracted curvature was talking about.
No, I'm
The
talking about a dinghy, and I
possibility
wanna know
to
what you're
measure an
saying.
angle
That's
on
your
the
deal,
ground,
guys.
on the ground that doesn't have a horizontal baseline. It's a
It does.
fact.
You're in the sea. You
A
use the
clear
sea level.
the
You use the
refracted
Marin.
curvature has told you already. You
Zero
choose to
degree
deny it. You choose
on
to
the
give
sea
this
level.
illusion to your
It's a flat
followers.
Earth
That's
measured
down on
with-
you, on your shoulders, not mine.
But do you think lifeboats are 100-foot tall?
Do you think sextants are sentient?
I don't think they're sentient. I think they're angle measuring devices, and we measure a zero
Do you
degree
think that?
or an elevation
Do you
angle.
think
from
that
the
they
surface
wouldn't measure an angle regardless of the
and we correct
surface?
to
Is
the
that what you're
surface
saying?
or sea level
Are you
when we're lost at
saying
sea.
it's? Are you saying? Keep talking.
Sorry,
Are you saying
sorry,
it's not
sorry.
possible to measure
Sound
an
like you're having the same
angle with a
problem as Jem
sextant
Pandrod yesterday.
unless the surface is horizontal? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the surface is horizontal. That's right.
Are you saying that a sextant is impossible to measure an angle with a sextant unless the surface is already horizontal?
No, I mean you can make angle corrections to the surface level.
So
if
you
you're
could use that and measure an angle on any surface.
above the surface level. You're just spurging through the top of my
It
answer.
doesn't have a horizontal
You're just spurging through the top of my
baseline,
answer.
does it?
You're just
It
spurging through the
does
top
not
of my
have a
answer.
horizontal
Yeah, it seems
baseline.
like Elder Bear's
Because
just
you
decided
are
to continue spurging through the top of
lying.
my answer. No, I'll just remove Bev from the discussion. Sorry, Elder Bev, you just can't seem to contain yourself. It's because you've lost really badly. Yeah, he was scared of the dinghy. The dinghy, we don't have to make any corrections. We just measure Earth flat from zero when we're at the surface level. Then we've already got a surface level. So this tool needs no correction. Therefore, we can measure Earth flat unimpeded. No corrections needed. I mean, we'd still be measuring Earth flat if we corrected to the surface level, if we were above the surface level, and we measured our altitude from surface level perpendicular to sea level in this instance, then the 100-foot measurement would be a measurement from sea level perpendicular to it for altitude, and we'd still require to correct that eye level parallel with the surface level we measured our height from to it. But most of the time, if we're in a dinghy, it's because the boat's gone down. Like, nobody, generally speaking, going up a freaking crow's nest and using a mariner's sextant. People have got much more advanced flat earth systems of Cartesian plotting and flat earth measurements of coordinates to plot in their computers that they've got on the boats. Those computers give them their positional information without needing a sextant. There's a good chance if you go overboard or the main ship sinks, then you might actually need to do this and use a mariner's sextant to acquire a horizontal baseline for an angle to the star's ground position. The one that Buck was scared of, don't know why. Meanwhile, elevation angles require Earth be measured flat, as defined earlier for Buck. Well, wasn't that fun? Did you guys in G Plus want to reflect on yesterday, did you say, Neil?
Yesterday was hilarious.
Well, yesterday was just a joke. It was just a collection of liars demonstrating how liars act. One confirming the other. And today you got Edit Bear coming in and lying. Fracted came in yesterday and straightened them out, and he's still using the same thing.
Yeah, if you say a lie often enough, it can be accepted as true. I mean, there was another liar exposed. Will Duffy came in claiming he'd got receipts for invitations I'd declined because he'd gone on air and told people I'd declined an invitation I never had. And then he suggested he'd got receipts for it and presented his chat comments from a live stream chat as evidence that he'd invited me and I'd declined. There was no decline. There was no acknowledgement. There was him leaving a apparently official invitation in a live stream chat. He claimed they were, quote, receipts. Now, I didn't even look at them because I know my position with regards to Duffy. Up until that point, I had no communication with him. But when he says, Nathan declined, I'm like, I've had no communication with this man. A position I stood behind then and now, because it's still a fact. That communication was only to expose Will Duffy as the lying scumbag we already knew he was. And when he confirmed, no, there's been no email communication between Nathan and I. He confirmed that several times. Then he suggested that I'd still decline the invitation because apparently he was talking in a live stream chat about it. Therefore, I declined. There was still no decline. There was still no communication. There was no acknowledgement. But apparently, an official invitation to go halfway around the frickin' world is to drop a comment in a live stream chat and then say that those are the receipts. Receipts? For what? You being in a live stream chat? Yeah, that's Duffy's standard. When he lied about me declining some invitation he never gave me. But we squared that away with Duffy the liar. He ran away, by the way, once this actually got presented. His so-called receipts that were exposed. And not by me, because I, like I say, didn't even care, didn't even look, knew he was a liar anyway. But someone else in the live stream chat yesterday in the Discord server went in and went, is this for real? These are your comments from a live stream chat. Did you invite any of the other participants by way of live stream chat comment box? And very quickly, Duffy was exposed, humiliated as the con man grifting liar that he was. Now, after it happened, I thought, should I trim this out? But I thought, why? Everybody already knows that Will Duffy's a con man, grifter, fraud, liar. And that was exactly how he behaved when he suggested that, no, Nathan's definitely declined some offer. Oh, really? Well, there's been no email exchange, as he confirmed. And the suggestion that I'd been offered anything came by way of a screen grab of Duffy communicating with a live stream chat audience. I kid you not. That was his standard. Yeah, the kind of standard you'd expect a lying fraud grifter like we already knew Duffy was to present, suggesting their receipts. That was his official invite. Yeah? So I stand by what I'd already been maintaining. No invitation ever came my direction, as confirmed yesterday by Will Duffy. I don't consider a live stream chat comment from this conning, fraud, grifter Duffy an official invite. You'll excuse me if I don't accept that as a reasonable standard. That's what we already knew, right? We already knew that Will Duffy's a liar. McToon has to lie about his measurements coming from Earth when he's measuring Earth flat with them. Suddenly they've got nothing to do with Earth until Buck comes along and is all keen to say how it's attached at a single point to Earth's surface. End quote, Buck. Yeah, there was quite a few liars that were exposed. Gem Panda had an absolute complete meltdown the moment Toon was exposed as a liar. Couldn't cope with it, couldn't tolerate it. Spurged out completely. Muted me 35 times to try and contain the situation. And today it's spilled over in today. Got a whole entourage of people coming to defend Toon, it would seem, that don't want him to be perceived to be a liar. Now, this is very telling. The moment Toon's definitely caught in a lie, twice. There's a whole backup of posse coming to defend his lies. Amazing. Telling. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat. Over the course of the last 2 weeks in all these different Discord servers, we haven't had a single globe measurement presented to us. And do you know why? It's because there aren't any. And it might seem fun to argue about whether or not elevation, that means from the ground, angles have nothing to do with the ground. Anything at all, Toon, you liar? Yeah, they do. They're from the ground specifically. Might have to read out a couple of citations, but in a back and forth with a liar, you're told that they're not important. When you're trying to suggest that it's nothing to do with the ground you've just measured flat, yeah, you can be damn sure they're nothing to do with the ground. Right up until you attach a ball to that tangential plane we definitely measured. Just had nothing to do with the begging the question ball that's dangling below. That's where we're at. The only way ballers can cope with flat earth measurements is to accept them with an assumption of a ball dangling below them. Oh yeah, it's fine for us to measure this flat plane. If I say there's a tangential ball dangling below that we're not measuring, so long as I can assume there's a ball involved with this flat plane measurement, then I'll call it a measurement. It's just a tangential plane to a ball we're not measuring. Then it's okay to be the surface at a single point. Unless you're Toon and you need to lie about it. Then it's, quote, nothing to do with the surface until Buck comes along and proves how big a liar he is. Very amusing, very telling. Long may it continue.
I always would have thought, like in this arena, you've got people who claim to live on a globe, so you need a measurement for that. We're stating how it's measured flat from sea level. You never hear them explaining this curvature measurement. They always seem to be using like horizontal and, vertical and plumb and heights above sea level, from sea level. I would have expected they'd be sort of laying some curvature measurements down on the table for us all to see, but that never happens, does it?
Precisely. So moments earlier, we had Elder Bev telling us, well, what if we're 100 feet above the sea level? Well, we'd need to measure sea level, we'd need to measure our height perpendicular to it. Every single suggestion of any measurement ever with respect to Earth's surface requires, by axiomatic prerequisite, Earth be measured flat. No different in the argument that we've just had. Why we're even having an argument? If we're making a correction, we're making it with a measurement from a flat Earth in feet. So we're measuring our flat Earth in feet to make corrections for Mariner's sextants. Yeah, that's right. Or if we use a different type of sextant that doesn't need a correction, like a bubble sextant, oh, well then it's axiomatically required that the surface be parallel with it. Yeah, that's because Earth's flat to be parallel with a bubble sextant. It needs no correction. All of these tools just measure a flat Earth. There's no exception. Same goes for azimuth, which is what they measured in Antarctica. Now again, Duffy tried to obfuscate with his shitty receipts that got torn to shreds and did not want to talk about the flat Earth measurements. I asked him, I think I counted 10 times, when are we going to get to the flat Earth measurements of azimuth and altitude? And Will Duffy did not want to talk about them. It was the last thing he wanted to do. I mean, he spent quite a considerable time with his fraudulent bullshit receipts lying about invitations that were declined, suggesting he was discrediting me, an individual, a man, aka at the man, when the man's asking him about his measurements that are of a flat Earth. That would be azimuth and altitude. But again, con artists don't want to talk about their con. They want to talk about the person discrediting them. In this case, me. Whether or not I've declined an invitation like that has any bearing on the flat Earth measurements he was asked about 10 times. But as I say, this con man really exposed himself. Duffy did not want to talk about the measurements at all, did he? No, Nathan, he didn't want to talk about. That's right. It's an outrage. You'd think it'd be the first thing he wanted to talk about. And he didn't. Definitely didn't want to be talking about the measurements. Only wanted to talk about another man. That was his only focus. And the minute he was exposed as a fraud, con man, using shitty receipts, what did he do? Well, he ran away. And I'd been asked repeatedly when he was going to get to the measurements. He ran away before ever talking about them. These are the facts, by the way. These are your gurus. These are the same people that when they're conning you, the moron ball believers, they're telling you they got frickin' science. I ask when we get to the measurements 10 times. Does not want to know. Never got to them. That was the reality. We never got to the measurements. What was it that Toon said to me when he called me up from Antarctica? He tried to deflect to measurements, end quote, Toon. Yeah, that's right. And when we got to the measurements, that's altitude angles, Toon said they had nothing to do with the surface. I mean, okay, if you want to suggest they've got nothing to do with the globe's surface, On the one hand, I'm being told the measurements have got nothing to do with the surface, end quote. On the bald dickhead Dumbo side, they're telling you they're experiments. Like the standard's completely skewed. For me, oh no, these flat earth measurements, nothing to do with the surface. Oh, you're a bald believer. These are experiments. They're just con men liars. And you, if you're taken in by this, are just dumb. That's the reality. It exposes the stupidity level of the ballers who watch these clowns. Because when they get exposed for lying, they can't cope. Like I say, Jem Panda had a complete mental breakdown over this. Didn't like the fact that Toon had been easily shown to be a liar. We were talking about it too much. Just kept going on and on about it, he said. I'm like, yeah, I will. It was telling that he was trying to shut the conversation down with his mute button. Yeah. Furthermore, we had Toon later on in the day get exposed again. Exactly the same way. So someone went and dug out, Len provided it, a comment that someone had gone and got for me with a clip from Toon's own mouth where he was describing altitude angles with their surface prerequisite. So I play it, and Toon accused me of playing randomly diced up clips. Pure projection. He'd been pressing the buttons on his soundboard, playing out me say, do not swear, and asking about gas pressure and calling Ruhif a numpty. That's what he's playing. Unrelated clips through the top of the discussion. Cowardice. And when it comes to the exposure of his literal defiance of his own position that altitude angles, quote, have got nothing to do with the surface, end quote. Suddenly when he's saying, well, you can measure a altitude from the surface of a flat earth. His own words were muted by the server. Very, very, very telling. We are currently in a position where we scare the living daylights out of our so-called former opponents. Now, they're not. They all use flat earth measurements. Toon's no exception. In this case, elevation angles. The ones he wanted to lie about having nothing to do with his globe surface. Which they haven't. It's just a measurement from a flat plane. That's all an altitude angle is. It's easy to define. It's a prerequisite flat earth planar measurement that you could also measure with a sextant from a dinghy. Earth being planar to acquire this surface level altitude angle. If it's not directly tied to the surface, you can be damn sure that you'll be measuring Earth perpendicular to a plane to get your altitude, to measure the surface level for your correction. Everything ever detailed for Earth and its measurements is and can only be flat. It always was, it always will be. At the start of this show, we were asked by Dawn, do people go out, measure Earth's planar surface, and then infer sphericity from it? And I said, yeah. You go out, you measure distances, you measure heights off a flat plane, and then you put them through calculations that suggest sphericity. That's how it works. Measure Earth flat, use the planar measurements, like altitude angles, unless you're lying about them, like McToon, and saying they've got nothing to do with the surface. And then you apply them by conversion and calculation to an inference of a ball that you think you're standing inside on a plane called the equatorial plane. And nobody's actually standing inside a ball. We also had that confirmed by McToon. Very handy. Meanwhile, nobody's measuring inside a ball. We're definitely measuring with respect to Earth's planar surface, derivable into concepts like the equatorial plane.
Exactly. That's all they do. Use angle measuring tools and argue about angles and baselines. I mean, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic listening to these clowns now. It's absolute jokes.
It's going to get harder for them.
Right, you took the words right out of my mouth, Nathan. It's only going to get more difficult for them. And here's a practical application. In about an hour and a half, I'm going fishing on a lake that is at an elevation of 1,180 feet above what? Sea level. Once I get on that lake, we use fish finders, depth locators. I can go to the far north end of the lake, look at my depth finder, and it'll give me that depth reading in feet from the far north end to the far south end, far east end of the lake, far west end of the lake. It never changes from that flat lake surface. So 10 feet at the north is 10 feet at the south, regardless of how big or small that lake is. Now, I'm fishing on a lake that is at an elevation of 1180 above sea level, and I'm measuring distances down underwater that are also linear and giving me depth. It's going to get worse for them the more people start to realize the practical application of the Earth being measured flat is true. That's it.
Yep. Well, sea level, that's geometric proof. It's the physical Earth we use for all measurements. On geometric proof, we'll look at sea level. We'll look at a map. That's what's been used for mapping all elevation profiles. Geometric proof.
That's true. And on those depth maps, every lake in Minnesota has got one. You get a graphics of underwater depths, and right on that map it gives you the elevation above sea level.
Yeah.
All these globers, like Sodbuster, he's just at an angle measuring wizard. I mean, that's all he does. He measures angles all the time. I don't know why he does that. He doesn't measure any curvature, by the way. He just likes measuring angles. I'm talking about measuring angles from theodolites and sextants from the horizontal plane. So that's what we're talking about as well.
Yeah, there's only a couple of options open to them moving forward. Either deny their measurements, like Toon did, like lie. Oh, right, well, this measurement from the surface of an angle, specifically detailed as being with respect to the surface, that's elevation angle, has nothing to do with the surface. Now, the consequences of that are, well, then you've got no surface measurements then. If you're going to be relying on these and they've got nothing to do with the surface, end quote, Toon, then they've got nothing to do with your globe surface. Now, in reality, they've been utilising flat Earth measurements to suggest their globe surface for 10 straight years minimum. In fact, in reality, the derivation of heliocentrism itself comes from flat Earth measurements. So if you want to look at it in that way, they've been using flat Earth measurements for about 500 years to suggest that they've got sphericity. Now, nothing much has changed in that regard. It's all old news. But when you're exposed, that's to say, well, what you're using in this suggestion of an experiment is measurements of the surface level for elevation, that means from the surface, angle, that's two straight lines, and azimuth, that's horizontal degrees from north. Those are the only measurements that were taken. Now, you could suggest that they went and weighed things, which would also be a downward vector perpendicular to a plane of reference also. But that's it. That's what they did there. Lots and lots of flat Earth measurements. So as time progresses, what do we get? Oh, I wasn't measuring the surface. Nothing to do with it. Well, it's nothing to do with your globe surface then. Oh no, I was measuring it flat, but it's nothing to do with the flatness of the surface. It's tangential to a ball we're not measuring. So you accept that we're measuring a plane then? Yeah, but only if I assume that there's a ball dangling below. No, that's got nothing to do with the actual measurement of Earth, though. We're measuring Earth planar. It can't just be accepted planar if there's a ball dangling below that we're not measuring. Because we're not measuring that. We're just measuring the plane. It's not conditional on it being tangential. It's conditional on it being a plane. Meanwhile, they're just measurements. This isn't a logical consistency that now seemingly needs to be unpacked. Whether there's a conditional plane involved, it's not a conditional statement. It's a measurement of what? A plane. Now, it's always been measured. There's no way to infer or derive sphericity unless you measure Earth planar. That's how it's been created. The ball was created by these measurements. Planar.
That's correct. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn it into a logic. It's not logic. It's just a measurement.
Yeah. If you can turn a measurement that's prerequisite for the globe extrapolation into a logical consistency, you can utilize it flat and then decry it. Well, this only works after I've measured it flat, converted it into a ball, and then referenced the positional information with respect to the ball I've converted from the flat measurements. Therefore, it's not flat. Like, no, your calculation violates the base measurements. Therefore, you either invalidate the base measurements, which is what Toon did when he lied. Well, it's got nothing to do with Earth. Okay, it's got nothing to do with your globe then. Oh, well, it has, but only if I accept a single point's tangential to the ball we're not measuring.
Crazy days.
That's just insane.
Earth measurement, but it's got nothing to do with the Earth. Crazy.
Nothing to do with their ball Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Listen to the things they're coming out with now. They must realise that all they're talking about is angles and elevation angles. And if we're using theodolites, the sextants, they're just measuring angles all day long. That's all they're doing, and that's all they're talking about.
Nick, and you just said it has nothing to do with their ball Earth. That's what it is right there.
Yes.
And they keep saying it has nothing to do with the Earth because they know damn well it has everything to do with the Earth being flat.
Yeah, that's the current best attack that has formed. I will measure Earth flat with this altitude angle. If you point out that it's a flat Earth altitude angle, then I'll say it's got nothing to do with the Earth. Okay, well, no, it just has nothing to do with your globe Earth until you calculate the globe Earth into existence or beg the question thereof. In reality, it's the only way we measure Earth. So, because it's got nothing to do with globe Earth, you're going to say that an altitude, meaning from surface, angle, meaning two straight lines, has nothing to do with the Earth. It's got everything to do with it. It's like, at that point, why are you measuring it then? Oh, because I'm later going to convert it and say that it's got everything to do with my sphere Earth that this is going to be proving. And you're like, this is sad. So you'll measure Earth flat and then say it's got nothing to do with the Earth until you've converted it to sphericity, and then it's proving that Earth's a sphere. This is pathetic.
Yeah, and you can't quote Euclid and then not quote Euclid. That's idiocy. That was in regards to Buck when he started, big wording and big naming and name dropping, and well, Euclid's book 1 theorem 18. Well, if you're going to quote it, but just don't say it and then go on with your own garbage nonsense. Quote him. What did it say? It's angles. It's triangulation. It's triangles. It's baseline. It's amazing the hoops that these guys will jump through to try to make people believe that we live on a ball. It doesn't happen.
In practical reality, we use sea level. That's what's used. It's part of the Earth. It's level. It's got an average level for all navigation and mapping. Yeah, that's what's used. You can quote what you want, or you can read any definition out you want. You can quote Euclid as much as you like, but we do have something in physical reality called mean sea level, which is the starting point for all measurements on Earth, and it's level.
Amen.
I was going to say one deck, is that mean sea level or global sea level? It's quite confusing.
Global sea level is rising.
Yeah, that was the other Toon lie. So he suggested that the altitude angles were globe altitude angles. Like, okay, so you're content to suggest that these flat Earth prerequisite angles being measured are in favour of a globe confirmation? Like, so when you call them global angles, which is again a contradiction in terms, then you're content to use them. But this seems really crazy. The minute they're flat Earth by prerequisite, which they absolutely are, they'll be denied as having nothing to do with the Earth. But simultaneously, you're content to label them as something global. Okay. So they're only accepted as making measurements relevant to Earth's surface if you call them global. How pathetic.
Well, if they did try to do that, then they would, and you were to make the first assumption that there were two ships on the sea with their tangential plane that has the ball below, you would have to have two tangential planes that were not parallel at all in different locations on their ball. That doesn't make any sense either. So the angle from one, if they're going to take an angle measurement from a point, which is ridiculous. Well, if you had two people out there 100 miles apart or 1,000 miles apart, they'd get two completely different angle measurements. It doesn't make any sense in reality. None.
What I heard yesterday was religion. I heard tune chanting a religion. I got global elevation angles.
Yeah, they just talk absolute nonsense. That's all they can do at this point in time. Either they use the flat Earth elevation angle measurements and try and tell you that it's from a globe and it's got something to do with a globe. They have to say it. It's a religious belief, like you say. Easy days.
Yeah, very peaceful position to rest in.
Gem Panda, bloody hell. He was having a heart attack.
That was hysterical to listen to yesterday. That was hysterical.
Yeah, they all need their special treatment, and when they're not receiving it, they moan and mute. Like, literally, projection was the name of the game yesterday. At one point, I was put on mute so I could be told off for muting people.
Can't make it up, can you? Can't make it up.
No, you can't.
I had to jump off for a bit. We'd have to leave that. Where was we in there?
Yeah, where are we today? It seems very quiet.
It's going to be quiet everywhere we go. Like, all of the servers will turn into like the old Flat Earth Debate Discord server, where people come in but are too terrified to actually speak because they know what will happen.
You know, last week you were in I can't remember which Discord server it was, but it was a full-on attack against you, Nathan. And as soon as you closed your show out, and I mean, they were just everybody heard them. They're just one after the other, 5 cucks, and they just loading up trying to just attack you. And as soon as you closed the show out, you know, a number of us stuck around. I just wanted to hear the conversation, and you would have thought they would have said, well, what an idiot. He doesn't realize, and then provide some of those globe Earth measurements. They didn't. They just went dead silent. I mean, dead silent. And they were still in the room, and they weren't even talking amongst themselves.
That is pretty telling. Because usually there's always the hero talk after we leave. Wow.
Right. Yeah, it was dead silent. Flat Earth Cafe was in there, and Steve was in there, and a couple of us were in there. I just wanted to hear what they had to say. They had nothing to say. Nothing.
Rob Knox just made me laugh on one of the shows. He was shouting, "Go on, guys, we're doing well. We're doing well."
Giving him a little pep talk.
Yeah, like he was doing a really good job on you. Okay, now. I don't know how many of your servers you've been in now the last few weeks, but every time you're going in, you're just knocking them out one by one, or 5 by 5. I just got to shoot off 1 second.
We're going to see it more and more. People becoming more and more despondent as they get tuckered out. Takes a lot of energy. Go ahead.
That's a good thing. Then that'll give them time to, ponder and reflect and change their position, because they only have two choices right now. They can stay with their heliocentric nonsense, as you so eloquently stated, Nathan, their one world religion, or they can come to the truth of measurements. There's only two positions, one or the other. So it's not, like I said, it's a battle. It's a warfare. But at some point, one side is going to win, and the other side is either going to come over to the good side, come over to the light, come over to the truth, or they're going to, harden their case for their own, and it's just going to have the same result. They're not going to go anywhere with it. They just sit in the corner and go, Copernicus, 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 Eratosthenes, Eratosthenes, Eratosthenes. Oh, okay. Doesn't mean anything. Like Tesla said, Einstein just wanders around with mathematical equation after mathematical equation after mathematical equation, and none of it has anything to do with reality. Tesla, the inventor, not the car.
I mean, there is a third option, which is ignore the awful truth.
Sure, then they're stuck in a land of perpetual nothingness, and they're just lost. Then, just lost in outer space. I guess you could cue the Lost in Space 1960 television theme music.
Oh, you're saying we're giving them a warning, warning, warning.
Yeah. All you Will Robinsons out there, take heed.
Yes, Nathan, that's the robot from Lost in Space from the 60s.
Yeah. The first talking toaster we ever got to see on television was
What about Dr. Schmidt? Unity?
He's a Brit.
He was, and he had a strong sense of the vernacular, boy. He ran some alliterations and some big over the top words. It was beautiful. I mean, the scripting was great on that show.
Are you still debating?
Not really. The debate's over because Earth's measured flat, Dawn.
And as a globe, sometimes by some people, right?
You derive the globe from the flat Earth measurements. I explained this to you earlier.
No, you admitted some people measure it and then say Earth's a globe.
Yeah, they measure it flat and then say it's a globe.
No, they measure a drop from horizontal curvature. You remember this from 2016, don't you?
Yeah, the horizontal distance was a measurement of miles, though, wasn't it, Dawn?
What do you mean horizontal distance? They're
imagine...
measuring drop from a hypothetical horizontal line.
That's measured. We got the distances on maps and shit, Dawn. They were measurements of distances. You say 31 miles.
Distance. I'm talking about drop from horizontal.
Okay, so what you're saying, there's no curve? Yeah, we know.
No, I'm saying that's a globe, it's a curve. Why would you lie about my position?
Same reason you're lying about mine when you suggested that I
know you're a flat earther. I don't lie.
Okay.
You're saying Earth's measured flat, and I'm saying, yes, but it's also measured as a globe, isn't it, by the globers?
No. If
You're
say
saying no now. You said yes earlier.
I said they measure Earth and then say Earth's curved after measuring it flat for the curve. That's drop over distance. So the distance...
then I'm going to make an accusation against your side then now to reflect that. You've measured Earth as a globe and then declared it's flat.
Okay, what were the globe measurements, Dawn?
Globe measurements are, well, you can Google the exact size. I can't remember off the top of my head. 8 inches per mile squared, right? Drop from horizontal.
You have to understand the difference between a measurement and a calculation, too. The Earth is measured flat. The globe is calculated.
Oh, but I think it's the other way around. I think it was measured as a globe, and then you said it was flat on top of that.
So 8 inches per mile squared. So we need flat mile distances then.
No, you just need a hypothetical horizontal.
Hypothetical?
Yeah.
We measure the miles, Dawn.
You can't.
And no one lives in a... Dawn, no one lives in a hypothetical reality. We live in reality, not hypothetical reality.
Said the flat earther, yeah.
Well, that's reality. Where do you live?
Well, it's pretty subjective, it seems.
No, it's not subjective at all. It's absolute. It's empirical.
If you think it's flat, and I think it's a globe.
We get back to 8 inches per mile squared.
What about it? Some people measure Earth as a globe, and then you measured it, you found the curve, and then you pretended it was flat for 10 years.
No. It's measured flat, then they calculated it into a globe.
I'm willing to give you the subjective nature that you measured it as flat, and we measured it as a globe. I'm willing to give you that. If you want.
All right. Then it's over. It's over then.
No, it means it's subjective and still up for debate, doesn't it?
Not at all. You can't take an empirical truth and make it subjective. You can't take an empirical truth and make it subjective. It's not.
I'm saying the empirical truth is Earth was measured as a globe, and you're saying the empirical truth is Earth was measured flat. So we've disagreed about the empirical truth, hence the debate.
No, there's no debate. You have to know the difference between a calculation and a measurement.
If there's no debate, maybe you could let someone else speak.
Go ahead. Curved measurements. I'm sorry, Nathan. Go ahead.
The miles are measured.
Flat measurements. Go ahead.
Yeah, the miles, Dawn. Those are measured.
Some people measure drop from horizontal, and they think it's a globe while they're measuring it.
Yeah, so you need the horizontal distance to be measured first to derive that drop width. So first we measure Earth flat with horizontal distance, Dawn.
But we don't know it's horizontal until we've finished the test to check what Earth is.
So if we don't know it's horizontal, then how are you going to derive curve from it?
We can also do the horizontal that goes across the top of the Earth, but then we're going to check if Earth deviates from that underneath.
So we're measuring across the top of the Earth horizontal.
If you want, yeah. Depends what you want to do. That doesn't mean it's measured as flat, does it? That just means you've made a hypothetical horizontal on what could be flat, but we don't know yet till you check if it deviates.
Well, people have measured it and they put those numbers on maps, and that's pretty good evidence for me.
Yeah, but those same people say Earth's a globe.
No, not the people who put maps together. They don't.
Yes, they do. Of course they do. I mean, have you got maps? How old is your map?
All maps are measured flat. But give me one that isn't.
By globers, yeah.
By everyone.
Projected onto a bit of paper so you can carry it around, but they think it's a globe.
Victory Royale! Sweet. I think that's the first time I got Victory Royale on a live stream. Awesome. Victory Royale whilst live.
What is that?
It's me winning at Fortnite.
So this is your show. You play Fortnite and have a
That's correct.
debate sort of thing.
There wasn't much conversation going on till you talked, Dawn. And what we've got with you is horizontal distance that needs to be measured for you to derive drop in the vertical from it. So Earth's measured flat for horizontal distance. Meanwhile,
yeah, and then we find out it's a globe, which is the measurement in full of a globe.
Yeah, the measurement of a globe is a derivative value that's also from a flat Earth measurement. So to get your radius, you measure at the minimum elevation angle of Polaris. That's what gives you radius. Yeah?
I'm talking about drop from horizontal being measured.
Yeah, so to derive drop from the horizontal, you need the horizontal
on a flat Earth.
So I understand this is painful, Don.
It's not painful for me, bro. I like to watch you go from a nice normal man, who believe normal things, to being a liar playing Fortnite in a fake debate. That's what I've watched you do over 10 years. So it's not painful for me. It's painful for you.
You win. Well done.
Because your life, you've changed into this angry goblin over 10 years slowly from an audio guy, a nice audio man. And now you're an ugly goblin that lies about Earth. So that's painful for you, not for me.
Let's break this down. So when you use horizontal distance measurements, because you've got 8 inches per mile.
Yes.
I'm an angry lying goblin. No, you've used flat Earth measurements of horizontal distance for the per mile.
And then we found out it's a globe. So it's not a flat Earth measurement. It was a horizontal on an Earth. Then we found out Earth dropped from it. Hence globe, hence measuring.
No, every single measured mile is flat, Dawn. All horizontal miles.
For 2,500 years.
I mean, if you're too dumb to understand this, that's fine. I'll just concede.
I'm a normal person, who believes normal things. You're the one saying weird alternative Earth theories while playing Fortnite. So you're the dumb one.
Alternative Earth.
I don't play kids' video games, and I don't have fake debates.
And I'll respond to you.
People on the actual issue. So I'm saying Earth was measured as a globe. You know this. So stop saying it's measured flat, full stop. Say it's measured as flat and a globe, and that's why we're debating.
So you're telling me I must tell you that it's measured flat and a globe?
Yeah, be honest to your audience instead of dishonest.
Fine. If you can tell me where.
Be honest and get more clicks.
Okay, gotcha. I'll tell you yes if you can show me the globe measurement that doesn't rely on flat Earth measurement of distance, in this case for a distance in a square.
Drop from horizontal doesn't rely on flat Earth measurement. It relies on a horizontal on Earth.
So it doesn't rely on a horizontal.
God.
It relies on a horizontal.
That's not a flat Earth measurement, is it? Until you finish the measurement and check that Earth didn't deviate from it.
Deviate from the measured flat miles?
No, they're not flat. That's an pre-assumption, right? So you need to test that and then show us.
Do you want to know why they have to be, or are you just going to tell me they're not?
I don't believe they have to be, because you're still at the point of checking. So you haven't shown us how it definitely is flat and not deviating.
I'll tell you once you finish talking. I'll tell you.
I don't want to hear the fake rhetoric. I'd rather debate you on the actual points.
Okay, then you win. Because you don't want to hear it.
I've already won. 10 years ago when you started to be dishonest about Earth for money.
Good win. Now I'm getting ad hommed because he can't accept
the 10 years later after
his use of linear distance.
Addressing the same points that we did 10 years ago. Earth is measured as a globe as well as measured as flat, hence the debate.
And what was that measurement? You've just given it me in a flat Earth prerequisite linear distance with a drop derived from it. That's flat Earth measurement.
No, it's not a flat Earth measurement. You keep saying that, but it's actually just a horizontal on Earth. So we don't know Earth's flat until you finish the test.
Well, once we measured it as a horizontal, then we measured it as a horizontal. Then we knew
Pre-assumption isn't convincing or approved.
This is Dawn's tactic now. We're in the middle of a reasonable discussion until Dawn.
That's what you do as well, though, isn't it?
Me a goblin. You used to be
do the
nice.
same.
Now you've become a monster that just talks through people when you're wrong.
That won't work because it's not true for me. You need to do a gaslight that's true.
The distance is measured 4 miles, and it has to be flat. You said you didn't want to hear it. The reason it has to be flat is to derive drop. That's verticality. Axiomatically, the distance can only be horizontal, or you can't derive drop from it. Drop is axiomatically tied at the hip to the horizontal distance.
I agree, yeah, but that's not a flat Earth measurement.
Were you a
That's
monster?
just a horizontal on Earth.
You used to be a pleasant boy, flying your drones, being a
gaslight won't work unless it's true.
Likes talking through people. What a monster!
I'm just as nice as I've always been. Yeah, I haven't become deranged. I don't speak lies to the camera.
Describing horizontal distance measurements.
Horizontal distance measurements are not a flat Earth measurement. They're a measurement of horizontal on Earth.
And they're measured. Yes, they absolutely must be horizontal, or you couldn't derive
that's not flat Earth, is it? You can have that on a globe. So that's nothing to do with flat Earth.
Deriving the drop from the horizontal. You are.
I'm claiming that, yeah. That's what the globe has found.
You need the horizontal distance to be measured first.
Yes, I agree. But
Yes,
that's
so
not a flat Earth
horizontal Earth measured for the distance.
It's not a flat Earth measurement until you finish the test and
horizontal
shown us that Earth doesn't deviate.
It's not. Well, okay, well then you can't derive drop from it.
Why not?
Because you haven't got a horizontal distance to drive.
No, I agree. I agree. It is horizontal, but it's just not a flat Earth distance because we don't know Earth's flat until we finish the test.
It's not. And you need to tell me how much that drops. What are you going to derive that drop from? A different horizontal? No, we only have the 8 inches per mile.
We're going to do this all the way around the world.
Per mile
to prove our point. We're going to do it all the way around the world to prove our point. Yes.
Yes, every single square inch of Earth's been measured flat with distances. That's
all
right.
different moments, we're going to find drop from horizontal all around Earth throughout time, throughout 1,000 years.
Surveyed curves. Earth's been surveyed with horizontal distances and the curves. We've measured it all, Dawn.
You call it horizontal distance, but you actually mean could be curved distance.
No. If it was could be curved,
you never finished the test. You haven't shown us
I don't know, squared
You've never shown us.
functionality. But then you'd need a value to square. And the value's the horizontal distance you're appealing to in miles.
It might be curved.
No, if it was second time, why male models? Second time. If it was curved, you'd need a value to describe the curve from. The curve is the drop. You're describing a rate, 8 inches per mile squared. That rate is a rate that gives you the drop to describe the curve. So to describe your suggestion of your curve, you rely on horizontal measured distance.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Earth's measured flat with horizontal distance. It's just a fact.
No, that's not called being measured flat. That's called the first step where we establish a horizontal on Earth.
So we're measuring Earth as a horizontal.
No, we're making a hypothetical horizontal on Earth to be able to later check if Earth deviates from it or not.
No, they measure the distance, Dawn. Nobody's guesstimating. It's a measurement.
Yeah, you measure the distance, but then you hypothetically draw that
straight and horizontal
across out to the thing.
Yeah, out to the thing that's flat, horizontal for the distance.
Yeah, well, you don't know it's flat until you show us that Earth doesn't deviate from
they measure it.
Why can't you show the evidence?
Like on a map, like the scale of a map.
Show the evidence that Earth doesn't deviate from a
square
horizontal.
inch.
Show the evidence that makes you think Earth doesn't deviate from a horizontal.
Surveyors, they surveyed every square inch.
Yeah, show us.
Show you a map with a map scale.
Show us the evidence that Earth doesn't deviate from a horizontal.
Because we've measured it in linear miles.
Show us.
Yeah, map scale. I've told you 3 times.
Show us the evidence.
Is it just me, or can anybody else hear me saying
from a globe? Couldn't they? Maps could be from a globe.
can't
How
cope
does
with
a
it.
map prove Earth's
Let me
flat? Are you
know if anybody
serious?
else Discord. Can anybody else hear me saying map scale, or is Dawn just completely?
Why are you pretending maps prove Earth's flat?
This is Don coping.
Yeah, you're just coping, Dawn. When
No, do you think maps prove Earth's flat?
Yeah, when you use them to say 8 inches per mile squared, you will be appealing to these maps for these
maps for that.
You are using. Okay, let's flip this on its head and say, okay, Dawn. So you're saying that the distance you appeal to with 8 inches per mile squared isn't real, then? The distance you're using?
No, it's the distance.
Oh, so it's real then? You're demanding that I prove the distance you are using for your squared inch formula from a mile that's measured. Now you're saying your mile you're appealing to for your 8 inches per mile you're using squared isn't real.
The distance and the hypothetical horizontal are two different things.
It's not hypothetical, they've measured it, Dawn.
No, the horizontal is hypothetical.
No, they've measured it, Dawn. You're relying on it being horizontal.
What do you mean they measured it?
Squared rate from it. Second time.
You're pretending that measuring things across Earth proves it's flat, and that's ridiculous logic.
Exactly what it proves. Measure across Earth as a horizontal distance.
No, it's not.
That's precisely what it proves.
It's you that's saying it's flat. They say it's a globe.
The maps say it's flat. You're using the distances on
maps
the map.
do not say it's flat. Maps are projections of a globe.
So you're saying you don't want to use 8 inches per mile squared anymore? You don't think
maps are projections of a globe. The map makers think it's a globe.
No, they're measuring distance
on a globe.
No, flat.
So prove it.
Have a linear distance derive squared functionality unless it's straight and linear as per all map scales and all measurements.
Why would you say that?
Because you're relying on it. You're squaring it, you dumbass. You can square it if it bends.
Don, you have to understand.
You can square something that's bending.
Nathan's a little bit twisted and stuck up.
You're a retard. I'm telling you, you're just too stupid to understand this. You're squaring it. It has to be straight and linear, or you can't square it. Dumbass.
At least you've heard me out.
Well, I've measured Earth flat for a mile distance that's measured and surveyed, axiomatically horizontal, for you to square it. Now you're saying, well, it could be curved. No, you couldn't square it.
That's two separate things I told you, didn't I?
When you square the linear distance, it has to be a linear distance. It can't be curving fourth time. Or you can't square it.
You don't square it.
Oh, so we don't do 8 inches per mile squared. Okay, so we're in the hard place. You're relinquishing your
That's from the horizontal. That's not from a distance.
So it's from the horizontal we measure Earth in. Yeah, we measure Earth in the horizontal with linear distance.
You check horizontals on Earth. That's not
in the horizontal. Are we done? Has to be flat, has to be linear. You can't square it if it's not. It's not hypothetical. They've measured it, surveying. Any deviation from that horizontal, that's drop, will be measured in the vertical, requiring the distance to be axiomatically measured flat, or you couldn't derive drop from it. Every square inch of the known territory has been measured flat for linear distances in all circumstances. Distances are linear.
What do you mean it has to be?
I mean, that's how it's been measured, flat for horizontal.
So it doesn't have to be. You mean you think it's flat after checking some people's measurements?
All maps are flat. The scales are all
flat. It has to be.
Linear and flat.
God didn't come down and said, globes are banned.
Okay, show me a curved scale. Go ahead. Which scale do you think curves? Take your time.
What were you going to say, fisherman? Just in case it's important.
Save me, fisherman. Save me from the linear distances.
Oh, I've said I've rested my case with you. You're just going
here. I'll help Don. Don, you have to understand the definition of a sphere or a ball or what you think you live on. The definition of a sphere is perpetual curvature from any 2 points located anywhere on that ball creates perpetual curvature. It doesn't matter. But you pick 2 points on your ball. The point, the position, it's perpetual.
Sorry, what?
I don't know what Fisherman in a Box is doing taking you to a ball. It's got nothing to do with the measurements that have been made. The distances are measured linear, flat, horizontal. Because
that's
we've
your
surveyed.
assertion, yeah. That's your assertion, but it doesn't make any sense after what you explained.
Well, I'll explain it then. If it wasn't
No, I don't
horizontal,
want to hear it again.
drive hills and measure deviations in the vertical from it. In order to have height differential, that's hills, valleys, mountains, then you need to describe those deviating from the horizontal miles that are measured in the vertical. These are two principles that are tied at the hip. If you're going to measure how high the mountain is, you need to know the flat distance to derive the height from. You're going to know how low the valley is, you need the horizontal distance to describe the topographical deviation from. So the first principle is measuring, as you put it, the horizontal bit. That's distance as per any map scale. They're all horizontal for the miles. They have to be for not only vertical deviation, but azimuth. Directionality on maps is also horizontal. That's how we navigate with maps. As a plane, Earth has been measured so we can use those maps. The principles we've measured are distance in the horizontal and azimuth in the horizontal. The Earth measurements are flat, Dawn. Anybody got anything else to add? Fun though that was. Much more reasonable talk. I can't believe that Dawn's the most reasonable person we've talked to in the last 2 weeks. Unbelievable. Props to Dawn.
Good. Yeah, that was fun. Good fun, Nathan. And I got to go fishing on a lake that is flat at an elevation of 1,180 feet. So we'll catch you down the line. God bless y'all.
Anybody got any comments from G Plus or Discord? Feel free.
That was a good one by Fisherman. We'll catch you down the line. Very good.
Yeah, not bad. I didn't catch that. With that, though, I am going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit me up via the PayPal or coffee links and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video. Right, it's going to be a super quiet after show.
Did you miss that, Nathan?
I did. What did you say?
It was just a bit of sarcasm. It was saying there the fact that you missed my super chat is proof that you declined Will Duffy's chat comment invitation to Antarctica.
Yeah, what you're saying is if I can miss a super chat, why would I be paying attention to the stupid live stream chat?
Yeah.
How about starting the show off with a song? I put in Master B, South is Down. It's a reggae tune addressing Robert's obsession with basketballs. Very good. Is that something I can play now?
Yeah. Go for it.
It's in Master B, you say?
Yep.
Is it above the link for today's show? Oh, I got it.
Hey there, Nathan. Do basketball exist? Yeah, you know they do, man. That means Earth's the ball. Hey, man. ball with a tailor's tape. That mean earth a ball. Hey man, Nathan. I use P waves and S waves on basketballs. And don't you know that that means that the earth a ball means earth a ball. Hold on. Hey man, Nathan. Hold on. You don't know the geometry or the pi is 3.333. Hold on. Hey man, Nathan. Bamba Clark. Hold on. Hey man, Nathan. You know that you don't know that south is down. Oh, hold on. You know that you don't know that elevation angles, they be global. Hold on. You know that you don't know that south is down. Hold on. Oh, hold on. You know that you don't know that elevation angles, they be global. Hold on. You know that you don't know that south is down. Hold on. Know that you don't know that south is down. Hold on. You know that you don't know that elevation angles, they be global.
That is good.
Cheers. I had a bit of fun playing around with that last night.
Very good. Right, I might round out the after show early, as there's very little conversation going on. Anybody got anything they want to ask from Discord? Now's your chance. If not, I'm going to round out.
Roll took it out.
Gotta be honest, I've got an enormous headache. I think I'm quite dehydrated. Right, in that case, that is going to be the end of the after show. All we're going to get in the after show is a song. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. But with that, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Hopefully someone will spam a link to Worldwide Debate so you can join the fun in there. If you do have the financial means to support me via either the Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal links below this video, then please do so, as that is basically how we keep the lights on in this place. So please support me via one of those PayPal or coffee links. Another massive thank you to Discord G+. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
It's the future. Well done, Dawn. The most reasonable person he's talked to for weeks. You might get an invite to his Discord. See if Divergent Droid can get you over there. You reckon the headache's a stress headache or temperature thing?
Yeah, trying to put a horizontal baseline on a sextant angle that hasn't got one is a bit stressy. Puts a lot of
Trying to
pressure on
turn a
him.
sextant into a horizontal measurement device by getting in a dinghy. It's like you can't make a sextant into a horizontal establishing tool. Well, you can if you get in a dinghy. It's like, oh, sextant and dinghy now makes a sextant into a level. I mean, that's... to tell that to the construction workers, won't you? It's like, oh no, we haven't really got all of the tools, but we do have a sextant and a dinghy. Oh, well, we're all right then.
It's the ability for these tools to be sentient that I find interesting. They know that if they're not on a horizontal surface, they stop working. Just don't work. Not reliable. I only had for a horizontal surface for these tools to work on. Otherwise, they just stop working somehow, you know.
Never having held a sextant or anything. I mean, he might have held a sextant when he was a young whippersnapper on the boat with his sister. But,
yeah, but
you know, since then,
yeah, but,
I mean, he can't remember anything, but it doesn't establish a horizontal. Like, as John's warned him about, the tool doesn't establish an elevation angle because an elevation angle requires a horizontal baseline, and the sextant doesn't do that, apart from if you get in a dinghy.
well, the trouble is that there's nobody here who can use a sextant, it seems. So what good is that a sextant in a dinghy anyway? Won't save their life because they ain't got a clue how to use it. Not that I've ever seen a dinghy sold with a sextant these days, but you know, maybe that's so.
It's only for making the sextant into a device that establishes level, right?
Where did Oakley go? What did you guys do to him?
Nobody was talking.
I stepped into work for a few minutes. I was coming back. And what happened to him? You
We
left?
killed him, Gakushi. We slaughtered
He
him
ended his
today,
show
man.
this early?
He had to run. He had to run,
That was a
man.
quick
God, you
one.
should have seen it. It was
Yeah,
blood
what happened?
everywhere.
Yeah, nothing.
What happened?
Yeah, nothing. You have to go and watch back, man. You
Somebody
missed it.
popped
It's
his ding.
epic. Epic.
He popped his dinghy.
Yeah. Yeah, he drowned.
Wasn't quick enough measuring an angle. It's all right. All of the other flat earthers will cover for him.
All other flat earth.
Backup. Yeah, he's got some backup. Surely somebody will come out because they must have learned it by now. I mean, they've been in his class for 10 years. Somebody must have it to be able to sort of just repeat what he said. Surely. Back him up. Back up that sextant angle that John said doesn't measure an elevation angle.
Jump in a dinghy, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I thought Bev drove him off.
Well, I mean, we could show him how the horizontal distances prove globe, but I don't think he'd he'd hear it.
Beyond him.
He's got the false dichotomy, Kikuchi. You know how it is.
I know how it is.
That's beyond him. He'll never get it.
Oh fuck! I dropped this thing. Man, I got out of work real quick too to tune back in.
Oh, what? You have to get over there. He might have gone back to the home server. You know, the little echo chamber. Go and get over there. Go and sort it
No,
out.
he's not in there. He's not in there. Flip side.
Oh no! What?
As Dawn said, you know, after you've measured the Earth flat, you've got to show there is no deviation from horizontal.
Should we take this to Gem Pandas or what?
Like what? The Gem
No
Pandas.
deviation from
The
horizontal. That'd be
rest
flat
of
Earth, wouldn't
our
it?
discussion.
They know that the Earth's not flat over there. You know, Gem knows that the Earth's not flat. But I mean, you can go over there. Tell him how good Nathan Oakley was today. Go on.
I mean, I didn't really listen to him. I mean, I was here for the beginning, but I don't know what happened.
Do you need to listen to him? You can just say to Gem like how good.
No, but I'm just wondering why he got off after like a couple of hours, barely. Like an hour and a half, maybe.
I mean, what is there? Well, what is there? What sort of a rebuttal is there to Nathan Oakley and his sextant horizontal measurement thing, right?
Yeah, you failed, Gakushi. You didn't bring the bodies in. It's up to you to bring the bodies in for him to
I mean,
slay.
I'm not home or anything. Also, I didn't bring him here. He came here by himself. I just came here.
Oh, I thought you were the booking agent.
No, not for today.
All right.
When I told you guys,
he was the support mod, though. He was the support moderator.
No, he has admin, so he was the one doing his own muting. But the thing is,
I think he said somebody got to Elder Bear muted him before Nathan could. Nathan was trying to, but somebody beat him to it. Kikuchi.
No, I didn't mute anybody. But anyways, the point is, I unmuted Elder Bear. Yeah, I did unmute him and Buck. But anyways, when I got out of bed, I said I was getting ready to go to work, and then I just kind of looked at Gem server and this server, and I just saw him in here, and I was like, "Oh, okay." That's why I messaged you. I said, "Get on." But
you messaged me.
Yep.
We were already over here, right?
No, I messaged you to get over here. I messaged everybody. I tagged everybody. I said, "Everyone get in Nathan's live." I do gotta say Nathan's defense though. Elder Bear, and again, don't take this as a disrespectful thing. I mean, you could take it how you want, but the way you debate, it just drains the other person's energy, man. It really does.
Isn't that a good debater? What do you want?
Well,
are you meant to lift your opponent? No.
Yeah, so there's
no debate going on.
I don't know if this is a medical condition or what, but there's a few members who have this, like Awaken, and there's a few other people. When they speak, it doesn't matter who else speaks; they can't hear it. That's how Elder Bear is, right? When he speaks, he cannot hear the other people talking, and it gets very like draining for the other person because it's not really a back and forth. It's like you pause after your 5-minute rant, and then when it's your turn again, it's another 5 minutes. It's never like a 10-second, 20-second respawn, right? And that's why
I'll bear it in mind for the next show, and and see if I can up my my fee a bit for a better performance.
Well, I'm just saying, right? Like I wanted to hear from Buck, but he ran away as soon as we called out how he said yes and McToon said no. And then he's claiming, well, you don't know you didn't let me get into the question. It's not a simple yes or no.
That's what you wanted. It's just what you wanted for your entertainment, isn't it? Just what you wanted. You wanted to control it.
No, because Nathan was talking about it. Well, my point is, if a question is brought up, regardless of what you think of the question, if one person on the globe says yes, the other person says no, there's an issue there. There's definitely an issue there.
That's how you globe.
Yeah. So McToon and Buck made that mistake.
Hey, you weren't obviously weren't able to command the conversation. You failed. Sorry.
I don't command conversations. I don't know what you're trying to get at here.
You're trying to engineer the question you wanted to be asked and answered from Buck.
It's not an engineering of the question. He was asking the.
Of course it was. You're upset that it didn't happen. You're upset it didn't happen now.
See, you're doing it again. That was the biggest rebuttal of yesterday's taking point out of the chaos.
Sorry, am I draining your energy? Am I draining your energy?
You don't drain my energy. It's just like
okay, that's
at one point I want to take
not a problem
and respond to you.
Not a problem.
At another point, it's like when Nathan, goes bang, right? It's like okay, If there's one guy in the receiving end, it should be you because you
He doesn't
basically
go
deserves
bang,
the
though, does
respect
he?
you give to people. So
He goes poof.
Oh,
He goes poof.
advocating
Just a
violence
little
there.
puff of smoke.
Is
like
that
he almost
moderated
I
advocating
was
for
laughing.
violence from the?
I was laughing this morning when he was like, Elderberry, you know what? You win. Just didn't even want to talk to you. You win. That was pretty funny when he was doing that this morning.
You say that when you have got nothing to give. You know, it's easy to say that you win because he thinks that's a win for him because he can't answer.
Yeah, but
It's not my problem.
No. He didn't mean it as a win for him. What he meant was he didn't even want to talk to you. So he's like, yeah, take the win, whatever. That's what he was saying.
Oh, right. That's not the way I heard. I heard Nathan
Divine his
Oakley's
thoughts as well.
in rebuttal. So he's given everyone the win, just like John did when he went to McToon's. He just sort of conceded everything. I concede everything is what John said, and I think that's Nathan Oakley's tactic from going forward.
Have you ever watched WWF back in the 90s? Like wrestling? Like Hulk Hogan and all that? Do you know who they were?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so like they had this thing they created in WWE.
Do you think that's what this arena is?
No, well, yeah. Well, it basically became the
No,
NWO.
well, yeah. What's that mean?
Well, I'm explaining it to you. NWO was what they created, and it was very popular back in the day. So that's kind of like the way I see the Flat Earthers. And then there was a crew that made the NWO Red Crew, which was a few people who derived from them. And that
New
reminds me
World
of you and
Order.
Elder Bear. Like you guys are like, the heels per se, right? The heels that used to be with the Flat Earthers, but now you're like the heels. You're on your own. You're
No,
like
I've
your
been
own.
talking to everyone within the false dichotomy for years. Just
Okay, do
because
you
we talk
accept
to
that?
people doesn't mean anything, right? We just
So are you
talking to
saying
people.
are you saying you were never ever a Flat Earther?
Yeah, exactly that. Yes,
Because I can tell you, there's no shame.
never been a flat earther.
There's no
because
shame
the
in saying
Earth
you
is
were
not
a Flat
flat.
Earther. Okay, but there's no shame in saying if you were a Flat Earther and then you just changed.
I know. I was not a flat earther.
Okay. So you were a glober then, originally.
Yeah, the real globe reality. Yes, I've
Yeah, but
always
before you
lived in reality and been
Yeah,
able to
but
prove the things that I can prove within reality.
right,
Yes.
right. But when you were like 16, 17, you didn't know 'tis a globe, right? So before that,
Nobody had ever taught me anything about globe.
okay, so you were just
Nobody
like
had
a
ever made me
typical.
consider anything about globe ever.
So you were just like a glober, basically. Then
A
that wasn't
glormy.
informed.
I was I was just an average glormy.
Yeah, average person who believes in the globe. I get it. Been there, done that.
Believe in what though? Believe in the thing that you'd never been thought about.
Correct. What others say. That's right.
And it's only when you come to this arena and you talk to adults that get really frustrated about their belief. And that's when you find out, right? People's beliefs can really push them forwards. But there's not really much more than belief in the entire arena. So the mission becomes to know something within the arena.
So is there any other people other than you and Elderbear who have figured the truth out?
I don't even know what Elderbear's done. But do you think that Elderbear's figured out the truth?
Well, no, I'm going based on what you guys are saying. You guys are saying you know the truth, right? Because 'tis a globe.
No, that's me. I'm saying that. I'm saying that.
Oh, you're saying that. Okay.
Yeah. Do you think Elderbear is saying that as well?
I would say yeah. Elderbear's ideology aligns with yours pretty
So
much.
where do you think you've heard Elderbear say that?
Here with Nathan Oakley.
Just?
I heard him say it in Gems too yesterday. That 'tis a globe, right? Well, he certainly doesn't think the Earth is flat, right?
So are you saying that you
Okay,
might
let's put
have
it this way. Okay.
misheard
not.
something that Elder Bear
Okay,
didn't actually say?
Let's put it this way. If they put globe, I mean the sphere globe on one side, and they put flat Earth on the other, and I get you're gonna say neither. I get that, right? But if you had to pick a side that aligns more with your ideology, I would say at this point it's probably the globe sphere, right? Other than the sphere itself. Like your ideologies align more with the globe than the flat earthers. Correct?
The real globe is not a sphere. So
I get that. I get
does that fit into your little thing that you're imagining?
Okay, let's run an exercise. I'm going to ask you some short questions. Just answer it very briefly, okay? Okay. What do you think the distance to the sun is?
Not got a clue. I can't imagine how you would measure it.
Okay, good. Do you think the moon landing was real? Yes or no?
I wouldn't know.
Do you think
you
Katy
learned
Perry
in
went to
Jem's
space?
place to ask people? Is this the globe test from Jem?
Yeah, these are the standard.
It's not a globe test. This is my own
questions.
Jem has never done this test. Jem says, like,
It's from Jem
Jem
to ask people,
well,
so he
I'll
can
tell
say
you
you're
the
a flat
difference.
earther.
No. Well, that's the thing. That's Jim's thing.
Thought
That's not
test,
like,
is it?
if you would say,
Isn't
if
that
you
what
say,
you're
I
doing?
don't know if there's a moon landing, then they would say,
That
yeah,
is
you're
what
a
you're
flat
doing
earther.
then.
I'm not doing that. I'm not saying you're a flat
So
earther. I'm saying,
that
I'm
is
trying to
what you're doing then.
understand. I'm trying to understand what you believe, right? So he's saying, moon landing, I don't know. I could
well, I'm
personally
only
say,
I'm only gonna tell you what I know because that's the way
that's
I
fine.
work, right?
Okay, Katy Perry, did she go to space? You think?
Don't know.
Don't know.
It's in Gems the other day. It's just the same. It's just the same, Kikuchi.
Do you think
exactly
there's a
the same
24-hour
questions?
Do you think
Exactly
there's a
the same.
24?
You've been trained to be like Jeremy, like Bev said.
Yeah, the question might be the same, but the what you answer and the perceive and how it's received is a different ideology, right? So I could ask the same question someone else might ask.
Perceived
However,
by who?
Is that all of your questions?
No, I have more, but he keeps interrupting, so it's not letting me getting it out. So the next question is, okay, 24-hour sun. Do you believe there's a 24-hour sun in the south?
That's what we're seeing, yeah. That's what they went there for. They showed everybody with videos, right? And there's no reason to believe that they were lying. But I don't know. I've never been there and witnessed it myself. But all reports show that, yes, there is a sun circle in the south.
Okay. Do you also believe that, based on
wait a minute. Can I just get for you? Do you believe that there's a sun circle in the south?
Yes, I believe there's a 24-hour sun in the south.
So that one, we both believe the same thing, right?
Well, when you say believe, what do you mean exactly? I know there's a 24-hour sun. Does that tell me the Earth is a globe?
You know there's a 24-hour sun.
Yeah, but does that tell me the Earth is a globe? No.
How do you know that?
Based on the observation of others and the proof that I've seen.
Okay, so your knowledge comes from other people's words, pictures, images.
Yeah, the 24-hour sun, the knowledge comes from other people's evidence, correct?
Okay, so at least for the 24-hour sun, your knowledge comes from the words and pictures of other people.
And evidence, correct.
And what evidence?
Well, there's a video, there's the testimony.
Pictures and words, yes. That
Okay,
was
so
covered in the pictures and words.
Oh,
of
I
other
see,
people.
I see. So you're saying, okay, so you're saying those are not good evidence. That's what you're saying, right?
No, I'm saying for you, that is a source of knowledge, right?
It's not a source of well.
That's
at
what
this
you're
time
claiming it is. Yes.
Yeah. At this time, it is. Yeah, at this time, it's a source of knowledge because of the evidence that was presented. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we know, at least, about that. The difference between me and you is that I just have to go off what I know, right? That people have said, but that's still just a belief. It's not a knowledge on my behalf. I'm taking it on a trust. that other people have witnessed it.
Correct. It's a belief. It's not a knowledge. That's right.
Okay, but you just said it was your knowledge. Are
Well, it's
you
my belief.
backtracking on that now?
Well, it's a figure of speech. I'm not backtracking. I'm saying, yeah, if you're gonna say, if you're
So
gonna get into
when you say you have knowledge of something, it's just a figure of speech.
Yeah, but you got to know that. Got to be a bit more careful about what you say here, haven't you?
Well, I'm not.
Knowledge and belief.
I'm just an average guy. I mean, I'll give my opinion. I don't subscribe to either side, so it doesn't matter. I'm not
But
Nathan.
you know the
Oakley.
difference.
You get me on the
You
technicality.
know the difference between knowledge and belief,
I'm not.
though, eh?
See how you don't let me talk? See how you don't let me talk? I'm not an expert on the technicality for you to do a gotcha moment. That's why your tactics fail against me.
But do
'Cause
you
I'm just
know
an
the
average
difference
man.
between knowledge
I'm just
and
an
belief,
average
then?
working man. It doesn't matter for me if I'm wrong when it comes to the shape of the earth because I could be wrong.
Okay. So when you say you know it, we
I'm
have
not
to know that when Kikuchi says it, that he doesn't know it, he might just believe
It
it. That's
might
what you mean.
just be, yeah.
Just so we're clear in the
doesn't know it,
future.
right?
Correct. No, that's fair.
All right.
Like I.
All right, not stopping you from talking, though. Just trying to make it clear.
Right. Yeah, that's my belief. That's right. The same thing with you. When you say tis a globe, you don't know that for a fact. That's your belief. It's the same.
No, I do. I've put
No, you
first
don't.
principles.
No,
I've got
as
arguments
far
that
as I
read
know,
from
I know.
first principles to the finish. Yeah, right. The conclusion.
Yeah, you know it within
is
yourself.
His
That's
globe.
your belief.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a knowledge thing. Yeah, I could demonstrate for you why it's not a knowledge-based thing if you want.
Go on then.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's some. I guess some of those things could be demonstrated and found to be true for more than one person. Tis globe, though.
Well, that's the thing. So it's very easy to debunk it. It's because if your knowledge was a knowledge base and not a belief, right? And again, your belief could be true, right? So just because it's a belief, it doesn't discredit it. However, it's not knowledge based. And the reason I know that is because you two can't be the only two people in the world who have figured out the shape of the earth. Because everything else, the Globers say, the Nathan Oakley, anyone else says anything, it doesn't match with what you two say. So the fact that like you're saying it's knowledge based, well, you can't be the only two people in the world that knows about this knowledge, right?
What knowledge?
Anyways, I gotta step in this building. Hold on, give me 5 minutes. You guys talk to yourself.
What knowledge is he talking about? Is he talking about his belief knowledge? Pretty sure. I mean, those are the things that have gone round in these servers for quite a bit. The difference between knowledge and belief, right? It's been going for ages. Anyway, I've got to go out. Some stuff to do. It's been good talking for those people that can actually talk. Yeah, for the flat earthers around here, what do you think? You think that this can go on for much longer, or is somebody else going to step up? Take Nathan Oakley's crown, put some sense back into flat earth, or has it gone forever? Can you all get behind Nathan Oakley? Is it the future? Hope his headache goes for tomorrow.